Solvent projects. To the
For you, and then for you. Yeah. I mean, what was the most interesting and why? Object detective. Okay. Yeah. For you?
Same thing.
Same thing. Anybody else other than this was interesting? Everybody said that this was interesting.
Yes, Blink. Blink.
Blink. What is that?
It's an IoT with the phone to connect to the display. And using your phone, you can turn on the light.
Okay, that's right. Okay. Okay. And what's your background? All of you? Electronics? Computer science? Electronics? Computer science?
Electron.
Computer science.
Computer science. Yours?
Computer science and design.
Computer science and design. Okay, you can proceed. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Electronics? Okay.
Computer science.
Electronics.
Electronics. So you are the only one with a seed. Yeah, yeah. So do you find any difference in her that she comes with seed? Anything she does special coming from seed?
It comes up with more ideas.
More ideas? Yeah. Why does she have more ideas? Why do you think she's having more ideas? Just because coming from seed. What is this for?
It's a reason I have experience.
You are the only one from the seed? Well, I'm not
There are-
sure if there are how many are there from the seed?
20 people in my batch.
Okay, so are you aware what we are going to do today? Anyone told you? Okay? Yeah. No idea?
Design.
Requirement
Okay, requirement and what else? Okay, so what do you want to start with? So you know that I'm here to do the requirement, then something design, the system. What do you want to start with? Tell me. Logically, what should be? We should start with the first. You're in which year? Fourth year. So you have gone through your design. Now, so what design course you have done?
First of all, I had the different captions to get everybody else.
Okay.
Then I had design.
So you guys must be doing, huh?
I had design drawings and picture,
Okay.
visual communication and design.
Okay.
And then we had the design processes and perspectives. And, design of interactive systems, prototyping.
You learn, so you must have done the design research or user research?
Yes, design
Okay.
research.
So he will be a TA. Yeah. Okay. Let's see how you perform as a TA. So why should we really bother to collect the requirement? Why should we? You're all engineers, you know best, you know the technology, you can design things. So why do you need to go and collect the requirement? If you don't collect the requirement, I live there. Yeah. So what will happen? If you don't collect the requirement, any wrong will happen.
Ultimately, we are designing something. It is designed for the user, for someone to use it.
Okay.
If we don't know the
If you don't know,
requirement or like what they want from the product,
okay.
how can we come to a conclusion?
So when you did this project for what was the project you talked about Patanjali Light? Yeah, so did you collect requirement?
But that was not designed for the user.
It was designed for what?
Designed for us to learn.
Was designed, and if you would have, okay, if you would have designed for some user, what that out of that, this same product, is there any difference you would have made? Because writer claims that it was designed for you to learn. Okay, but imagine you would have designed the same thing for me to use. What difference it would have made? And why?
Make it like more clear.
More
Like
clear.
the complexity, the wirings and all.
But do you think that as a user I see the wiring and all? When I see the wiring is all inside, na?
no
Yeah.
generic controls, like when we
No,
built
yeah.
it, we knew what button was doing what.
Okay.
So now if we make a remote for the user to build it, so we put forward, backward, we name them specifically. And then it's easier for the user to learn.
Why do we need to name that? Why do we need to name that? So I tell you a story. Okay. Okay. So you all the room are dark. What do you expect? Huh? You turn on the light. Yeah. Okay. So naturally, as a user, I will. But how do you turn on the light? How do you turn on the light? With the switch. Okay. What is the action you perform on the switch? How do you know the light switch is off? How do you know? स्विच में तो लिखा नहीं होता ऑन ऑफ नहीं ना लिखा होता लिखा भी होता तो बहुत छोटा लिखा होता है मध्यम से लिखता नहीं हाउ डू यू नो
Predefine that the downward triangle will
Yeah, sure.
say that it's a.
तो ट्रायंगल तो दिखते नहीं है स्विच होता है
So
लाइट ऑन और ऑन यहां पर ठीक है यदि लाइट ऑन है तो स्विच क्या डाउन होगा नहीं एंड लाइट ऑफ है तो स्विच ऑन है ना ऊपर होगा सही है ठीक है डाउन एंड अप so this what is this called when you think about this okay you know when the light is on what will be the state of switch down right and when the light is off what will be the state of switch what is this called what is this called you should answer you hey all of you should answer you done HCI what is it called
Affordability,
no that
affordability.
is why it happens what is that okay I don't have to look into switch and I can say switch is down in this current situation yeah what is happening
What I see here is that, you know, when the switch is on, there is nothing to do with it other than you turn it off.
what is this called as a science or as an art
Affordability.
yeah we'll go there it's at the top level what is it called that's also नीचे भी थोड़ा और ऊपर आते हैं
Cognition.
हाँ cognition ना yeah so we have cognitive models yeah these are called mental models yeah a we have learned that switch down means light should be on and when we see the light switch is down and light is not on then what we conclude something is broken right? But we still don't know what is broken switch is broken or wire is broken or the bulb is broken right okay but it gives us some because we have a mental model of a connection between light and the switch okay so most of the time you actually start your interaction with anything I know this is a board yeah why I know this is a board why should I know that this is a board this could be display because this looks like this no? And how do I verify because there is a cognitive model mental model of this board yeah if you would have changed the form of this I would have got confused yeah so I actually do with the cognitive model so please remember whenever you're thinking about the user what you're thinking about that they all have a cognitive model so how does the cognitive model are built by that we because so now I continue my story so I opened the lock of my apartment and what I found is dark so what I'm supposed to do when there is I thought the switch on off so I went near the switch and what did I find all switch were down right so then what's the problem my cognitive model says when the switch is down then the light should be on so my conclusion is switch are down light is not on so I thought oh maybe there might be a main switch yeah that's logical yeah, because that's how the electrical distribution happens so I went down basement. Again, I found this was down. So what is my conclusion? Combining problem and all. Huh? Maybe the electricity is not there. There are a lot of possibilities. When the switch is down, but no electricity means there could be the wiring is wrong. Maybe the lights are broken down, or maybe there is no current. Yeah, these are the three possibilities. So, but I don't know. So what I did, I called up and there was a like service office. I went to the called up the service office, and that guy came. Yeah, he looked at the switch, and he looked like, "Oh, now you have to control yours. You don't know this because you just came and just up. You know what to do? Yeah, he gave me a bad look. Like, do you deserve to be here or not? You don't know even a stupid thing. Simple. Yeah. But where does it fail? Right? It wasn't my stupidity? No. Because there was a problem of cognitive model. Yeah. Because there were two different people. One had a cognitive model of switch down means current flowing and the light should be on. Whereas the other person has a very different. So now are you getting why do we collect a comment? Why should we collect a comment? Understand other person perspective. Yeah, right? Because all of are the user of a mobile phone. Yeah. I work for Nokia. I'm also using the mobile phone. But I still go for the user economy gathering. Right? I could have just said, why should I go out spend my energy traveling around and all because I'm a user. Right? There might be possibility the way I look at the mobile phone or the way I use the mobile phone, the way I see the feature will be different than what you would perceive. Yeah. So are you getting why the comment is important? Right? We cannot take it for granted that I know about the user economy. Yeah. So, okay, does it establish that we should go for requirement gathering, right? And one of the reasons why do we gather requirement other than cognitive models? What do we do in requirement gathering? How many of you have done a research project where you must have developed a project or product in your courses? Yeah, I'll do it. I'm just setting the tone so that you do not feel a formal class right now. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So why have you been to conducting user requirement studies? What did you do?
So we collect data about first the participant demographics and what state they're currently in, how they're feeling and everything. And then we go on about our questions regarding our study.
Okay.
And it is the general data, what age group will use it, how we'll target it, it helps in business formation and marketing too.
Okay, so this is her explanation that when she goes for the user, she collects. I give you a counter. Okay, so there's a book. I don't know if you have read it or not, called Culture Code. Yeah, if you haven't, please read it. Yeah, it goes against this whole idea that if you go to the customer user and ask them what they want, interview them, understand, nothing will come out. They will lie with you. So we were talking about what cognitive model. They go a little beyond. They said no, cognitive model doesn't work. What works is a culture code. So what is a culture code? What is the difference between a cognitive model and a culture code? I have not defined the culture code. What could be the difference between a cognitive model, which you have defined? I acquire the cognitive model based on my experiences. So what is the culture code?
How we take a prototype and we see how different people react.
Okay, so cheese, everybody, yeah. So what is the culture code for cheese in US versus culture code for cheese in France? Think like a cognitive model, yeah. I had a cognitive model of switch down, on, their model was up, on. So what could be the culture code for cheese? Because what you said is like still collecting the tip of the iceberg. Yeah. Top. What's the gender? What's the race? What do you like? And all kind of thing. So the cognitive model. But you have to go people down. So the culture code. Cheese. Guess कर सकते हो कोई
USA might be preferring slices, while in France you have mozzarella or मतलब shredded cheese.
what is this was crisis. Huh?
Slices.
Slices and
In France you may have blocks and
you will be shocked
shredded
if I
cheese.
tell you the culture code for this. You know what is the culture code for cheese in US? Death. Life versus death. Now look at how are American store the cheese? How do they do it? Hmm? They put a film, yeah, and put into refrigerator. How does a French person store the cheese? No, not water.
Take a wet cloth or something.
They never keep it in the water. They put it into the saucer, cover it. And what is so special about this cover? They have a holes. Yeah, the cheese has to breathe because it life. How does the dead body get preserved? Wrap around, put it to the. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? And we talked about cognitive model, and then we talked about culture code. Cognitive model of the switch was down for me, up for them. Culture for cheese for life and death. So, what did you learn from these two? How do they impact you? How do they impact you? What is cognitive model? Other than cultural code.
It might be that people living in they only meet US and they only in France.
Exactly. So, please don't just think that as I said, the cognitive model is necessarily the same because it's based on the experience. The culture code is also different, could be different. So, cognitive model is individuals. Okay, my cognitive model. Whereas culture code is of the society. Yeah, which I learn, and culture code I don't form myself. It comes from my ancestors, my parents, my grandparents. Yeah? So these have a higher value in terms of building understanding. So when you are looking at the requirement, what you are looking at not just individuals cognitive model, but also individual, society, and culture. Okay? So when you go for research, when you go for requirement gathering, if you go talk about gender, age, income, where you live, will be giving you some cognitive model, yeah. But this will not be sufficient to do this. Yeah. I give you another example from my work. Have you heard of a phone, Nokia phone device called N2300? Butterfly keypad. Is there any pen I can draw? Is there? The pen. Okay. Yeah. And this is the color. Okay. My drawing is bad. Don't go with. So this is the phone called butterfly. Okay. So what we did, we had two colors. The phone was coming in two colors. One was purple, pink, and peach. Yeah. And what this color for whom we have chosen? If If this is a color palette, what comes to your mind? Women, yeah, say it. And the other color was blue, gray, and black. What comes in your mind? The man, yeah. So what is it? Is it culture code or community model? It's a culture code, yeah. Right? And we exactly got the track. So what we did, our marketing team researched what is the volume of market of this, and within that, they did your kind of research that how many female, how many male, and they came out with an idea that larger population is male. So when we produce the phone, black, gray, and blue will be producing higher number, and this will be producing lower number. When we ship this phone to the market, within 1 month, this was out of stock. Okay, and the black and blue were still available. Yeah, so हो सकता है men are slow. Okay, maybe they will pick up. Happened again second month, third month, 6 month. We got really something wrong. And then we went and I tried to find out the men were buying this color. It's not that. So what happened? What we missed?
Assuming
The changing trends. Yeah? Because the culture code will keep changing, property model will keep changing. So you can't rely on the history or the stereotype. So even though this phone had a lot of problems, okay, I will talk about this because we designed it, so I want to create concern, but this is one of the blunder we did was because we relied on our own knowledge. We said we know it. Green, blue, blue, gray, and black is man, and peach, violet, and pink is women. And we rely on our this thing. We didn't go and collected the requirement, and we lost because our stock was lying there, and there was no buyer. Yeah. Would you like to do this with your product? No. Yeah. So now, what did you learn? Just tell me. When you go for your new research, which is related to understanding your user, what you will be doing
Without any bias.
without any bias. Okay. So what is the bias? Is stereotype is a bias? Stereotype is a bias. Yeah. Okay. What else?
You're inclined towards one thinking. If I think that black is for men and pink is for women. So if I go in with that thinking, then I'll try that I'll get the same result as that. But if it's not,
Okay. I'm listening.
I'll try to validate.
Yeah. So because I have cognitive model, I also can understand cultural model, but I cannot take it for granted that this is correct. Yeah. So first thing I have to do as a part of the requirement gathering is validate. Clear? But if you just keep doing validation, what will happen? Answer will be yes or no. Right? So yes or no is a qualitative or quantitative? Quantitative. So what is qualitative? What is qualitative? Your job is to understand requirement, both quantitative and qualitative. What is qualitative here?
experience that they are having.
So how do you get that?
Survey. Survey.
Here is the wrong term. Survey is exactly will give you the quantitative. The survey medium, if you really look at it, where do you use survey? When you are looking at quantitative information. Survey is never a good thing to do for quality. It give you when why do we conduct? What is a good use case for doing survey? What is a good use case for doing a survey?
Prototype testing.
No.
To get the numbers like acceptance.
If you have to go for very large number, you need 500 sample size. Yeah. Okay. What is the other? One is number, size. Yeah. What is the other one? Use case. When you can't reach out to people, yeah, in person, yeah, the good use case. Right? I can't go. I don't have time. I don't have money. Travel. So that's a good. But survey will give you more of quantitative information. Never rely survey for qualitative information. Right? Okay? So then other than survey, what do you do?
Research groups.
Huh?
Research.
Research.
Research groups.
Research group. What is research group?
Focus.
Focus group. Yeah. Okay. So how many of you have done focus group? You've done. Okay. Explain.
Focus groups is the setting when you want to, I mean, in this case, if I would have to conduct a focus group, I take a topic like this phone, so everybody, 10-15 people would sit in a circle and discuss what problems they're facing. Each one would, like whoever's taking the circle, like focus group.
Why it's called focus group? You describe group.
Yeah.
Okay. You bring a lot of people into a group. Why it's called focus group?
So they focus on one topic.
You focus on one topic. Yeah. But how does it bring the qualitative?
It brings the experience of people
Okay. So
and their own particular thoughts.
So if I have to ask you, how? What did you learn?
Yeah.
Okay.
What stood out in the session?
Okay.
Which professor class did you enjoy the interactive questions with that?
Okay.
And
Okay.
what idea could you have come up with from this session?
Okay.
How can it be better? What else would you more like to learn? What can be the real life implementation of this session?
Okay. What else? So if I ask you this question, what's the possible answer?
Yes.
Yes, no, then or something which you can write this. How does this qualitative? Because you give me 10 people like, and the 8 people didn't like. Yeah. I do also give me that maybe my content delivery was bad. I didn't show any slide. Yeah. But how does it do qualitative? What is qualitative about this session? How are you defining qualitativeness of this session? Only learning or something else? So one is what? Like, is what a question for qualitative or quantitative?
Qualitative.
Is what a question for qualitative? How? How? What you attended, what class you have attended today? What subject you learned? Is it qualitative or quantitative?
Not qualitative.
It's not. No? So how can I turn this into qualitative? How? Yeah? Right? Right? So your question should be built around how. Yeah? Because that will give you experience. That will not give you the description. Yeah? That allows you to define your way of quality. Yeah? Because, okay, loneliness. What quality do you think about? Loneliness. You have to put as a qualitative or output of loneliness. What will be your answer? There might be biases. Yeah? I had bias about loneliness. I always felt that loneliness means something to do with mental health. Yeah? Stress, anxiety. Yeah? And these two words define the qualitative, no? Not the quantitative. Yeah? I'm not asking how many people. I'm just giving you state of my feeling. Yeah? Okay? So, but will this feeling remain same for everyone? You think everybody feel exactly same about loneliness? Okay. So if you don't mind, can I ask you to define loneliness? Please? What is the quantitative definition of loneliness? Not quantitative, please. Qualitative. Qualitative does not mean positive quality. Please understand. It could be negative quality. So now can I ask from you, when you think about loneliness, what qualitative thing you think about? You have to spend time with yourself, okay? So what is the quality? Yes. His answer, I asked him, and this is the answer. What I am taking from it?
Reflecting,
He's reflecting, okay? What else?
being away, quiet.
Okay? That is about personality. I'm talking about what his statement he said, what you are getting as an output. Because you are the researcher, you have to make sense of what the user says, the insight. So what is the insight I should take from this thing in terms of qualitative? Repeat what you said.
I get to time. I get to spend time with this.
So he's saying when I'm lonely, I get time to think about myself. So what is the quality? It's a very good feeling, no? It's about that I'm able to think about me. Yeah, what is the quality is reflecting? A very positive quality, no? Right? Okay. What about you? Again, don't get biased now.
When you
And
are-
there is nothing about case because he's talking about positive quality, so he gets
When you are in a crowd, but you still feel that no one is around and you are still alone.
Yeah. So you again, I'm trying to interpret. He's saying even though in the crowd, many times I feel alone. Is it what is what quality is reflecting? Is he saying positive, negative? No, he's not saying anything. He said positive, but he is very neutral because he doesn't know. He doesn't specify anything. So why are you suddenly going in that? Because again our biases are there. Because what we feel that negative loneliness means something negative. Yeah. Okay. What about you? Move on. Yeah. Now what is the quality? What is reflecting on? Is he reflecting on others or is he reflecting on himself? Is he reflecting on others or is he reflecting on himself? He's actually reflecting on himself. He's questioning himself, yeah? His doubt is creating a doubt about himself. So please understand, this is the insight which you are capturing, not the superficial that he said this or he said good or he said bad. This is not. The quality is about understanding what they mean. Okay? And if I repeat this exercise everybody, you will find so many different qualitative information about a word called loneliness. Clear? So don't get this taken away by I'll go and conduct the interview and I'll get answers. Yeah, I go and conduct a survey and I get answer. Okay. Yes, you will get a lot of data, but you may not get answer because answer lies where? Answer lies where? The synthesis. Yeah. How do you read it? How you convert that into insight? Okay. And never rush for conclusion. Never rush. Okay. Any question till now? I don't want to use any slide right now. Okay. So I wanted to have a conversation with you. Any question? Okay. I asked you a question. Why we are talking about this? Why should we be talking about this? Is it a waste of time? Say it if you feel. But how does it valuable for you? You have come here to do what? Intelligent product design and development, right? So how does it important to you? This understanding qualitative, quantitative, insight, people, culture, cognitive model. Why is it important?
So that
Because at the end, your product success is defined by how well you have validated and in the process discovered. All of you have traveled? Yeah? So what do you call your travel? What do you call your travel as? There are two types of travel. Yeah? There is tourist and there is explorer. So what is the difference between a tourist and an explorer? So what he's doing, validating. He learn about Paris. Paris में अपने टावर है? उसके सामने एक पब्लिक पार्क है? उसके अपोजिट में ये है ना? And he just go and validate. Yeah. What is the explorer?
Explorer tries to live aware of the place.
He doesn't plan. He explored. He explored. And in the process, what happened? He discovered. He discovered. Yeah. So when you go to a city, how do you know the city and the people? If you just know, you go to the France and you know, okay, there are 5 tourist destinations, and you go there, hire a cab, take a metro, go there, what are you doing? You are validating. If the Eiffel Tower looks the same as somebody written in the Lonely Planet, right? All my friends showed me in picture, na? This is, you're doing only validation. But when you explore, you will learn about what? You will not only learn about Eiffel Tower, you learn about the culture of Paris. You will also learn about history of Eiffel Tower. You learn about the Rhine River. Yeah, you learn about how the boat. That's called discovery. Okay. So validation is important, but more important is discovery. Okay. So if you want to discover, what do you have to do? ये बार-बार करना पड़ता है?
नहीं सर actually कुछ
अच्छा, it's
just
don't worry. I think I have no plan to use it too much of this.
Okay.
Yeah. I will use it later.
Alright.
So
sir new page में open करेंगे?
Huh?
New page में
no, it's okay. Where is the eraser in this? Because I have very different models.
So this
I have, yeah, this is the.
And sir
Yeah.
Sir,
Because I have a Samsung where I just do this and I can run like a natural function.
So
Yeah.
sir that is there.
I have to, what was my operating model? Operating. Yeah. And I failed. Yeah. I didn't show my embarrassment, but I was really embarrassed. So that was a qualitative. Okay. So if I ask you, are you guys ready to do assignment? Not this component. Everybody has a pen and paper. If somebody doesn't have, please read it. Don't worry about your drawing skills. If you're going to drawing assignment, no schedule assignment. You can do not a problem. Yeah. So all of you are carrying a water bottle, na? Okay? Yeah. So you come to a destination, but imagine you are an explorer. You are always on the go. Yeah. And now your task is to design a water bottle for the people. Go. They are always traveling. Your task is again, get me out. Design a water bottle for the people who are always on the go. They keep moving. Yeah? Design a bottle.
What do you define by on the go?
On the go is people who travel. And when you travel,
In every territory.
now the mode of travel, I'm not defining the mode of travel. Okay, but the people who are on the go, somebody who might be traveling in a luxury aircraft, somebody might be just walking. Yeah, you can choose whatever customer you want to choose. That's open to you. You heard the question. Yeah. And repeat. Think. There are a lot of people, who are always moving. Yeah. They're always moving and they always feel thirsty. Yeah. So you're designing a water bottle for them. Done. There was no race right now. There was no extra mark for doing it early. Done? Everybody done? Yeah. It's a small problem. No? Yeah. Okay, let's look at what all you have designed. Somebody come and just explain your design. Come and explain. Talk about it. You can talk. Everybody has to talk. Don't worry.
Do we have to show it?
Yeah, you have to show also, of course. You have done so much of effort.
Everybody knows the Stanley Cup, right? So it is something
Stand
like
up and show everybody to dance.
there. Or-
Anyway, that's okay. That's yours.
So we all know a Stanley Cup. It looks chic. It can be used when you're in an airplane or something in a flight. But can it be useful when we go on adventures? The main problem that comes with that is कि handle निकल गया या straw में से पानी गिर रहा है या फिर आपको कुछ अलग attachment use करना पड़ रहा है, right? So for that I have designed a lid which has the ऊपर का हिस्सा, sorry, which is like a bottle. So you use the straw in that section, and whenever you don't want to use the straw, you remove it and you add the normal cap that you have with it, or it can be a flip as well, right? Another thing is, कई बार you want to hold it like this. The bottle you might want to hold like this because it's big, right? When you're traveling or something like that. It has handle, but it will have a grip, which will be curved thoda inside and be like fingers jaisa, and it will go all around. It will be like a rubber grip around the Stanley Cup. So it can be chic, it can be useful, and it can be carried in any way that you want. It is not the best, but it is.
No, you don't have to be doubtful about your design. You're just designing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what's your take on this? Don't think she's a friend.
The design basically saying that we have to hold the model every time. But the traveler or the explorer does not want this option. So size का issue.
ठीक है. अब दूसरा पे आएगा. Somebody else. Yeah. So, sit. And then you get a chance to decide. Stand up and show. But छोटा वाला है. थोड़ा लेकिन बड़ा कर. You can use the board if you want.
सर डिजाइन मतलब वैसे ऐसे है कि मतलब इसको कंप्रेस कर सकते हैं. जब पानी नहीं है तो रबड़ से कंप्रेस हो जाएगा और जब यूज करना तो एक्सपेंड हो जाएगा और वाटर चला जाएगा.
The same mode. Best लगती है.
वही है.
So basically, what she did is what was her exploration? What was the problem she was trying to solve?
She was trying to solve her problem, and whatever she faced with her Stanley Silver, she corrected that.
What about you? And you? What was did you solve your problem or somebody else's problem?
My idea was you don't want to hold it. It should carry enough water. It should not be feeling heavy. and
So you created a basement or what?
I created a plan.
Oh,
Like,
Yes, yeah.
we can create.
Okay, how many, just in a small crowd, two people are thinking the same line, na? Right? So how many people will be thinking the same line? Imagine all of you bring your product to the market, what will happen to me? I'm confused, which one I buy, right?
So that's why I put not only one functionality. There's a card holder too. You can hold your money, cards, and a little pen or watch, whatever you want to buy.
Yeah, what was the other?
But how will you hold that when it's folding? That's what you're saying, na? If you fold it, how will you put the card? How will you put the pen?
No, no, it's like this, right?
It's
Like
like
one
Acha,
chart.
okay, it's
Or-
like it's okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's like an
Imagine you are traveling to Paris, British. You know, the the people from Romania will come, they'll surround you, okay, and somebody will just open and take out the card. Who else want to? Yeah.
This may be a little too, is you have to get a lot of stuff. Maybe you want to look at Instagram, you want to watch reels, you want to talk to someone. So you don't have your hands very, maybe you are trekking and you need to hold something. My invention, I will put a bottle on your helmet or whatever it is.
I believe everybody who traveling will be wearing a helmet.
I mean, it's very convenient.
You're forcing. You're forcing my me to wear a helmet. You know,
Maybe they are in mountain area, it will be
yeah,
helpful.
so you're, okay, so you're restricting where the helmet will be a requirement. So bottle is built around the requirement, a particular.
maybe factory.
It's just like question, yeah. Okay,
So
so
you can make a headphone out of this, that will be more useful.
I made this for Saturday.
so it's a protective bottle.
Yeah.
It serves as a protection.
Yes.
So you would have designed the water bottle in such a manner that you can't see you would have designed a helmet where you don't see the bottle. Right?
It will be very.
But अभी भी हमें होगा ऐसे कैसे होता है कि
The
साइड में
water
रखोगे तो ऐसे नहीं होगा
step on the head.
बल्कि
The water,
वो तो ठंडा रखता है गर्मी में जैसे भी जा सकते थे नहीं no air conditioning required. Okay, yeah. Next, we'll come. Go. Yeah.
Simple water holder है.
I think I guess we can do that.
और ठीक है फिर बस एक मेटल हुक है कि उसको मतलब चटका भी सकते हैं बैग के साथ या फिर अपने जीन्स का वो होता है
Anybody who have done something very different? Anybody? Who said no, हम लोग पास हैं. मैंने देखो क्या किया. Anybody wants to take a chance? This is it. Yes, yes.
I also have a thing,
Okay.
but with it I have attached a string which can kind of like as a stretch also.
Okay.
So this ID card पे नहीं होता है कि you can do that. So it can attach to your bag and जब आपको पानी पीने you just drag the water bottle and open it.
एक बार देखिए सब लोग ने वाटर बॉटल बनाई ना ऐसा क्यों हो गया कि आपने सबने वाटर बॉटल बनाई
Because you are.
हमारा bias है.
तो देखो कहाँ गया है बायस कहाँ से आया?
एक cylindrical and plane
देखो मैंने बोला आप वाटर बॉटल बनाइए नहीं है तो आपको तो मैंने मौका ही नहीं दिया सब लोग आके आपको बोलते होंगे थिंक आउट ऑफ बॉक्स नहीं सुना थिंक आउट ऑफ बॉक्स था मैंने आपको क्या किया बॉक्स में फिट कर दिया है ना तो हाउ डिड आई फिट यू इनटू द बॉक्स तो क्या क्या था वो जिसमें what if I ask you to write especially you coming to the scene can you write this HMW statement what I said right
this statement.
HMW all my things you have done all my
Yeah.
yeah so
I don't really remember.
maybe no you don't have to remember but you just say how might be designed
Design.
a water bottle for the people on the road right so that and add the attributes right यहाँ पे क्या हुआ अपने अपनी तरफ से मैंने बताएंगे अपनी तरफ से कुछ attribute डाल दिए शेयर की तरफ से एक दिन और but what's wrong with this Is it a good way to extract your innovation? Because I put you, all of you in the box. And I put you like a horseman.
Yeah.
Is it a good way?
No.
If you want, and I made a certain line, like, all of you become an entrepreneur and make the water bottle. What will be the life of consumer? We have how many? 18 water bottles in the market, and I'm confused which one I should buy. So what will make your bottle? Were you solving? What problem you were trying to solve? Tell me. Everybody, what was the problem you were trying to solve?
What was on the go?
Huh?
Uh, people who are always walking.
People were always okay, huh? That is the problem. So you would have given them skates, and they don't walk. Right? What is the problem you were trying to solve? What you focused on? You focused on what?
We
The product.
focused on,
Right?
I focused on that they don't have to refill the water bottle very regularly, and they don't have to carry the weight.
So you said, let me do everything on the water bottle, no? Because I told you.
How greater.
And this is exactly what the situation like is. Believe me, I'm telling you. And this is how we are trained. There is a, brain. Brain has a part called cortex. Cortex मतलब?
Yes.
एक part है. उसका काम है association build करना. Based on cognitive models, right? ये mobile phone है. This cannot be duster. Yeah, because this is a screen. This might have a duster impact. But till I see that, I'll still call it a mobile phone. Yeah, that's the problem, that we have a cognitive model, right? And that's why what I did is I put you into a box. Yeah. Right? And the brief I given you, design a water bottle for the people on the go. So I define what? I define two things. I define the user. User A, जो people हैं, जो travel करते हैं, उनके लिए एक water bottle बनाएंगे. So I define the product and also define the user. Is this a good thing? What's wrong with this statement? Because of this statement, all of you have got trapped into that trap of designing a water bottle. And all of you come with a product called water bottle with small changes. Huh? So what will happen to you as a market entrepreneur? You will never be able to capture market now. All of you will sell 100 bottles, right? So you need to sell 1 million bottles. So how do you convert your problem into selling 100 million or reaching out to 100 million customers?
Going down to understand the.
No, that's a different thing. But how does you achieve? Start point was here, design a water bottle for the people on the go. Okay? Design, I like it.
Design something that can store water.
Design a container.
Design a container.
अभी भी आप प्रोडक्ट के ऊपर ही चल रहे हो, है ना? प्रोडक्ट के लिए आप कुछ कंटेनर पे है, वो कंटेनर बॉटल हो सकता है, वो बॉक्स हो सकता है. How do you come out of this box?
Availability of water.
Who said availability of the water? What is the problem we are solving? Tell me. Are we solving the problem of water bottle, or are we solving the problem of those people who are on the go? And what is the problem? They want to drink water, which is drinkable, then they are moving. And what we were focusing on? Water bottle. So water bottle is what? It's a medium. It's not a need.
It's already a.
What is the need? So what is the need? To quench the thirst. Water bottle is not a need. Right now you have this solution, and you will keep developing, and that's why when you go to the mall and the shelf, you're not getting confused about which one you should buy, and many times you decide based on impulse. Yeah, oh, looking good, color is good, material is good, yeah, but they're all same except some change in the form, some change in material, some change in color. Okay, and that's why you are never able to say, wow. Yeah, and you just buy it. Okay, fine. Yeah. So what will you do? Not focus on the product, your brief, your design brief, or your product brief should not talk about the product. You should talk about the need of the user. And as soon as you focus on need, this is gone. What is the need?
First.
I feel thirsty when I'm moving. Yeah, my moving condition would be different. I could be in desert, I could be in Himalaya. Yeah, I could be in plains. Yeah, but my need is same because I feel thirsty. So what I'm doing is, how might we? How do I rewrite this statement? Focusing on need. How might we?
Might be something else. We make
What design should be this solution?
we make water available to all the.
How might we make water available, drinkable water available to all the people on the go, and then on the go can be defined Himalaya versus Rajasthan, yeah, or versus plain or versus classroom or this. तो suddenly क्या होगा? The cognitive model जो बाहर से खत्म हो जाएगी, नहीं? Now you not think of water bottle now. Just by making a change, now you are focusing on what? How do I make water available? And because of that, हम लोग पहले क्या कर रहे थे? हम कन्वर्ज कर रहे थे ना? Right? Everybody converge into a water bottle. By changing the brief, what we started doing is divergence. How I can make water available? If you go to Paris, you will find the water fountains, huh? All sides. What? Nobody require a water bottle. Right? So is carrying a water bottle is necessary or quenching your thirst? No. Why you want to focus on water bottle? Because the brief was wrongly decided. So what I'm trying to tell you is, unfortunately, most of the time, you will get a wrong brief. And if you really want to do a good product, before you start okay, that you're not, because most of the time, the brief is given by the company. Yeah, and they say, oh, I make this, and help me make it better. So you're already the box. You work on television, you work on mobile phone, you work on boxes, but yeah. So you have to learn before even going into anything, start anything, you have to learn to make rather than a brief which allow you to diverge. And those who have studied design thinking, double diamond. Okay, the diamond never start like this. Start from right here. Now, what are the possibilities? Water fountains. Yeah, I can provide taps. I can put people there who can offer. I can open shops. All these possibilities are diverging, and then looking at every solution against the user I have in mind. If the user is not able to afford money to pay, will this solution work? I open the shop and sell the water? No. So I will think about many ways and then put the user into perspective, right? And see, and then start converging. So what all you guys are doing with this exercise was, rather than diverging, you are converging. And stop doing this. Stop yourself doing this. Unfortunately, our brain is hardwired for that because we have a component in our brain called cortex. Okay? So cortex क्या कहता है? Thank you. The cortex क्या कहता है? Association. First, this is chair, this is table, this is. Imagine we are in this room. Yeah. You just imagine. Don't think it happens. Yeah. Imagine this. This is a room which has only one exit door. Okay, which is glass door. Yeah, and there is a fire. What will happen? What will happen? Yeah. You want to save your life? Me? Yeah. And you realize the only way I can exit it by breaking the glass. Right? So when you try to break something, what is the first thing you will look at? Of course, this is glass. We define the material. So now what do we require to break something?
Something to hit.
Something to hit it, right?
Yeah.
And what is the cognitive model to something to hit? Is a hammer. Yeah. Okay, but so this is a cortex. Cortex gives you cognitive model. Yeah. Hammer. I wish I had a hammer. But there is no hammer. So now what you're doing is because now what I say, sorry, I can't help you. It takes a back seat, yeah, and it allows other part of the brain to function. Okay, and the other part of the brain says, can use this water bottle, right? Yeah, or I can use this chair, right? Now my cognitive model about this chair has changed from a chair to hammer, and that's what you require to train your brain to give a rest to your cortex, yeah, and allow other part of your brain to function if you want to deliver, design a good product. Okay, unfortunately, we as an engineer, I'm also an engineer by the way, yeah, are trained to lie more on cortex. Okay, and what we do, as soon as the problem comes to us, we start doing a solution. Okay, I tell you a story. When there were Britishers were ruling our country. I hope you remember that. Now we have a different other people, black Britishers are ruling the country. Yeah. Okay. But there was a time when the white Britishers were ruling the country. Yeah. So daily, I think you were in having a problem of cobras. Yeah. Like in today's world, we have rats, mice, cockroaches, not these cockroaches. Okay, the real cockroaches. Yeah. Okay. So these citizens of Delhi were facing this challenge of cobras. Every house has snakes with cobras. So when you face any problem, where do you go? You go to your HOD or you go to your coordinator and say, sir, we are facing this problem. So who were the HODs of British time? So the Britishers. So the citizens of Delhi visited the British rulers. Yeah? And sir, we are facing this problem. And the Britishers were ruling the world. They said, we know everything. They are ruling the world. You know what they did? When the citizen came and told them about this problem, we rule the world, we know everything. And they said, okay, since you are facing the problem, I have a solution. What is the solution? Anybody who bring cobra, dead cobra, anybody who brings dead cobra, they will be rewarded. Yeah. And what was the belief in their mind? Validation. If cobras are dead, the problem is solved. Yeah. Okay, so they made an announcement. Anybody who brings a dead cobra, they will be rewarded. And what happened suddenly? Every day, thousands of dead cobras started coming. And British are very happy that their solution is working. Because if more cobra should be dead, after some time, the population will diminish. Month pass, second month pass, third month pass. The quantity of dead cobra never reduced. And suddenly what they realize is they keep shelling out the money because they have to reward because they have announced it. They said, what? 6 months, 7 months, 8 months. We thought the cobra will start coming less, but it's increasing. So they went and did this research, user research. Yeah. Okay, you know what they found? People started breeding cobras. And we have a chicken farm, we have a cobra. Yeah. Naturally, like you build the chicken and sell it, and started cutting the cobras and go to the petition and get the money up. They realized that, but they were petitioners. Well, we know the solution. Yeah. So, what was the solution? They said anybody who is found breeding the cobra will be punished. What was the problem? Cobra was the problem. What was the first solution? Bring a dead cobra and get rewarded. What is the second solution? Bring anybody who is found building cobra will be punished. You know what happened? People got panicked and they opened their farms. And now when they open the farm, the city can say no cobras. Yeah, there is a reality of a situation. What we do, we think we are solving a problem, but we are not actually solving a problem. We are creating more problems. So please understand when you are designing a product, think about it. Can you give me any example from Delhi of similar kind where they try to solve a problem, but the problem become a bigger problem? Give me some examples in Delhi. I can give you. I now don't live in Delhi, but I born and brought up here. Maybe in the recent time, in the last 7-8 years.
I can give the CBSC thing.
Huh?
The CBSC papers that were.
Okay, ठीक है,
And
ठीक है. थोड़ा और भी close problem.
those
I remind you December month of Delhi. What happened in December? The pollution, yeah. So you remember Arvind Kejriwal government, what they came out with solution? Not even. What was the intent? Solve the problem. They thought by redoing this, what they will do? They will reduce the number of cars and reduce the pollution. What happened? People got another car. Yeah. Now we have more cars, and then what is the problem? I had only one parking, but I have 2 cars. So I'm fighting with my neighbor. Right? So it started a problem which was not given a lot of thought, and somebody got a solution. Yeah. Most of the time we do because we have this part called cortex. The cortex take over. So if you want to be a good researcher, if you want to be a good product maker, first thing you have to learn is to anger management होता है. Before you react, count 100. Before you start working on a solution, count 100. And let your other part of the brain to take over. Okay? And what do? You don't count 100. You do validation and experiments. Yeah? Is there any other examples? Delhi, Delhi. CCTV cameras. Yeah? You thought there is a lot of crime? This is everywhere. I'm just giving Delhi. There is a lot of crime. What do? You put the CCTV camera. What happened? You spend a lot of money. People started. It's not where the CCTV camera working. The people started getting afraid of privacy, all kind of thing. What could have been the solution? If you were a designer or you were a product designer or a product technologist, what your solution would be? Keeping now culture context or the culture code, cognitive model, and whatever you learn that don't focus on water bottle, focus on the need. What will be your solution?
for increasing crime.
For decreasing crime, because they thought that by putting this camera, they will make people conscious and the criminal will be afraid, and that's why they created nonsense.
Stricter police patrolling, stricter police patrolling.
That's also another problem. If you have more police, then they will actually start taking haftas for you and say that, you know. By the way, there was a scheme by police. If you are leaving your house for longer period, they started a scheme that informed the police, local police station. You know what happened? There were more thefts. Because now people were sure that, you know. So read a book if you get a chance to read. It's called Light, L-I-G-H-T. It's a very interesting book, which is written from a point of view of psychology of darkness. Okay, so why do we wait for sunrise to go out of our home and wait for sunset to come back home? How does this biological cycle is built? That the office start in the morning and office closable in the evening. How does it happen? Why?
Because of circadian rhythm.
Because of
Circadian rhythm.
okay, or
Because earlier people did not have lights and they used to hunt and do their
activities during the day. So
Okay.
it passed on hierarchy.
Cognitively answer it.
At night it is hard to see. At night it is hard to see and navigate.
So in okay, but the biggest thing is around fear.
There is.
The darkness brings the fear, and the light gives that feeling of feeling safe. Okay, so what happens when the dark start coming, when the sky becomes dark? What we do? We really think of going back, no? Right? Because it's not because you are bound with time, because your brain is cognitively bound to the darkness. Because as soon as the darkness starts, a fear start coming to your mind, and that makes you go back to your home and feel safe. Yeah. You know what Las Vegas has done on this? Why Las Vegas sunset never happens? What's the reason? They've actually built the whole city based on this science. That people want to come out of their homes when the sun rises, and people want to go back to their home, and you know, anybody has got it after this? If you not, please go with us. I mean, second product person, yeah. You know, if you open your window or home window and look outside, you know, what will you see? Only home. No green. Okay. Imagine if you wake up in the morning, you will never come back to Las Vegas. That's why what they want you to do is you sleep during the day and see the Las Vegas only through the control, which is no sunset. Okay, they have created a city, lying the whole city where you don't even come out of the street. Even the metro goes inside to one hotel to other hotel. Yeah, because they don't want to see the darkness. And if you see the darkness, what will happen? They don't want to see the sun, because then you will see the real Las Vegas, yeah, which is nothing but a desert. Yeah. But they don't want you to see the darkness because that will force you to go back to your rooms. And if you go back to the room, what will happen? Who will play casinos? Okay, so this see Las Vegas as a product and understand the whole design of the Las Vegas and why they have used the cultural code, they have used problem models, they have used the psychology, they have used the aspiration of people, which comes through the research department, and they build the whole city around that. And a successful city, a successful product. If you call Las Vegas as a product, that is a very successful product. Because it is able to create a desert city which had nothing and made a big commercial hub. Okay, there's a lot of employment, a lot of commercial value. So that's called innovation. And if you really want to innovate, if you really want to do good, what you need to understand, you need to understand the psychology, which is cognitive model. You have to understand the social and culture, which is culture codes. You have to understand the need of the people, not the final product. If you start building things in terms of this, I have no possibility other than changing the material, changing the color, the form, and yeah, I'll never able to think about something innovative which looks very good. Yeah, okay. So, any reflection on that? What did you learn? What did you learn? Tell me. Yes. What's your reflection on this? I don't know if it was qualitatively. What is your experience? Now you define qualitative so that I see that how I'm going to move next. Yeah. You know, you be very open.
We should always keep discovering more than validating like what we are working.
Okay. So,
Discovering the clarity.
okay.
We should think about the future use case of our product that we are building.
Don't think about
Maybe it is.
don't future, please understand. You have focus on the present. That's the problem. We are thinking too much about future. That's why we are doing all our research effort on autonomous mobility. No, because we require it. India, a country where you have so much population, I can understand a country like Finland, Norway, Sweden. But do we require an autonomous mobility? Because we are thinking too much on future. Let's first save our parents and then look at the future.
Think less with our cortex. Think less with our cortex.
Yeah, first, very important that learn to give rest to your cortex. Learn to give rest to your intention to solve the problem immediately. Delay that process. Like anger management, don't react at that time because you'll goof up. Okay, you will react immaturity. Yeah, so learn to, and this is called mindset. One of the mindset of innovation is called think like a child. Remember child? Huh? हर question पूछते हो. Sometimes you get embarrassed. Sometimes you don't have answers. So behave like a child who has a lot of curiosity to learn. Question. Unfortunately, our education system has put us into right and wrongs. Okay, and before we do anything, we start thinking: is it right or is it wrong? So first thing is nothing is wrong, nothing is right. It's all contextual. Okay. Wasting water, throwing water. If you start looking at what will happen, will you able to create ROs? Yeah. Everybody's home has a RO.
Yes.
Yeah. What's wrong? What's right in that? Tell me. If there is wrong, if there is right, can you conclude it in a very black and white manner? No, that is not possible. Oh, because you know this that for 1 liter of clean water, you are wasting 3 liters of water. Yeah, that's wrong. But what is right is that you are able to get a water which is clean and quality, which is what's ready. Yes, so how will you, if you choose by wrong and right, what will happen? Either you will not have RO or you will have RO. Right? But so what should be your right thinking? I will not stop RO. But what I will work on, how do I reduce the ratio? That's the right. Okay, I give you one of my students is doing a very interesting. Manipulating of their ideology here, and suddenly the people in a group form the echo chamber here. They start echoing the same this thing again and again and again. Yeah, okay. So in that scenario where you are talking about the echo chamber, how do you solve this? One way is ban social media, but if we ban the social media, what will happen? You will not able to enjoy. You will not able to connect with your friends. Yeah. So what will you do? As a product, you are a product designer, product developer. You are making a product called social media. This problem of social media can be taken care of.
Filter out.
Huh?
Filter out the.
Filter out. Okay, but filter out is पूरा algorithm change हो जाएगा.
Restrain the posting of.
Restrain the posting. How do you restrain the posting?
Have option these days.
Yeah.
On.
adding to Gary's point, it is like we have these options of interested and non-interested for the user. If they want to stop that loop and do not want the content of this guide, they can just say.
But I already see, I agree, but I'm still in that echo chamber ना. I know कि हिंदू मुस्लिम करना जरूरी है, नहीं? है ना? मुझे करना है, राम मंदिर का कंटेंट देखना है. How do you? So we are working on a two direction because we don't want to compromise on the model. When every model is up, then the Facebook will not be there. Na? We are working on a concept called one is called fiction. Okay, so then the technology was fine. Yeah? Everybody knows fine. This has created a lot of nuisances because it's become easy. Yeah? When I was in your age, and I have to apply for internship, I used to write one name, one letter. Okay, and that was very customized to that company. Today, every summer, for summer internship, I get more than 100 applications. They don't even bother. Whether they have known about me, what area of work I do. Yeah, because they write to 100 professors. Yeah, okay, and they use your LinkedIn profile and just put. Yeah, because sending the mail will become easier. Yeah, if you want to create a picture, when you want to send any material, you can't send it just to slide. You are adding a picture so that you will disconnect. Yeah, delay, same way, context. Yeah, this is one way. The other way is we are creating another algorithm in the social media. One is the reinforcement algorithm, which we don't want to trust, which we don't want to disturb. What we are doing is we are adding this algorithm. What it does, when it checks that this is pushing a particular content, okay, of X, yeah, it searches content which is the other side of the story from the social media. So when I find and send something to you, the internal algorithm is also checking what I'm sending and bring it to story which is countering what I'm saying. So when you will get it, so what you get my story, and then you also get two story which just give you the point, the counter of that. Okay, that's the way you should design. Never kill the product. Okay, never try to change because that will stop the whole business. Okay, solve a problem so that it doesn't create a new problem. Is it making sense or not? Okay, I am good. I really did not show you any slides or anything because I felt there's a better way to do it, but you are the people who are going to do a qualitative review of this and tell me yes. If they want, yeah, I'm ready to take break. Yeah, I saw some people left. There might be indication that sir, we are getting old now, or we are getting tired. So yeah, if you guys want to take a break, I'm happy taking it. Yeah, but say yes or no. Yes. Huh?
As you wish.
No, don't think you understand. I'm like you only. Should not be based on my wish or percentage. What you want. Right? Okay, so how long? 10 minutes? Okay, sharp 10 minutes. Yeah? But tell me what is your 10 minutes? Because in my, like in Hyderabad, we have a 10 minutes, it goes to anywhere in 25 minutes, 35, depend on who you are dealing with. Okay? 10 minutes. Okay.
Or you let me. Or like. Also see.
How many of you want to see the slide? Not that I'm not going to show you. I'm just telling you the number of the slide. I have more than 100 slides for this session. Yes. So I hope I'm able to establish to you and help me understand this. My intention to talk to you in the previous session was to help you understand and appreciate, more than understand, appreciate that if your intent is to build a good product generally are being seen as a social thing is they should be good in technologies. Okay, if you have a good technology, you will build a good product. Yeah, okay. Whereas I was trying to tell you that a good product largely depends on how it satisfies the needs of the people. Okay, so don't focus on the product, focus on the need. As we established to the example of water bottle, what we established is the need is not of a water bottle. The need is of that help me quench my thirst when I am on the go and I feel thirsty. Then what is the best way I can access to drinkable water when I am on the go? That was the thing. Water bottle was one of the medium use. Yeah? Okay, and if we just change our approach by not focusing on the product and focusing on the need, we were able to, rather than converging, we are able to diverge. Yeah, okay. That is always a better exercise. Yeah, okay. The second thing I wanted to help you understand that, okay, yes, we need to focus on need, but needs can become very easy to interpret if you don't do it right. Okay? And we get into a standard conventional methods of conducting a research, which is a requirement gathering, by believing that because most of the time, unfortunately, we think when you want to do a research, you immediately go out and start talking to people. Yeah, you have certain question in mind, and then you start talking. Yeah, but yes, it's a good thing, but are you getting the ROI of that or not? Yeah, talking is always good. Yeah, because you learn, but will you learn what you want to do? Okay, so for example, if I ask you a question right now, how many of you believe in charity? This is my question of an interview. See, I'm interviewing all of you, and one of my question is, do you believe in charity? What will be the expected answer?
Yes.
Yeah. So is it a good way to know? No, because obvious answer will be yes. Yeah. Whether you believe or not is a different thing. Yeah. So what should I do to get the right qualitative information about you, whether you believe in charity or not? Is interview a better method? A survey is a better method? Or something else is better? Focus on the method of
Situational analysis. Put the situation and what
experiment. Okay. So I will design an experiment. And you must have seen, if you would have watched NDTV in its original days, yeah, they were doing social experiments. You remember there was an episode of social experiment, yeah? And they were recording this and how people react. There are a lot of our social media. You might find those kind of social experiments, yeah? So we don't, when you talk about the user requirement, don't limit yourself to surveys and interviews. Yeah, there are many methods. Okay, but how many of you have learned about? How many of you have attended design thinking course? I'm sure everyone design thinking course. Yeah. So how many of you learned called technique called 5W and 1H? 5W and 1H. Everybody? Yeah. So what is this 5W and 1H?
When, why, and how.
How? Yeah. Why how? Why not we should have just done on why? But
Because we
what?
also
all
want
five.
to know the method that
Why it's important to know
ये
the method?
किया कैसे किया but कैसे मतलब ये किया but क्यों कैसे किया
Okay, that H is providing you the ability. Okay, if you miss a match, all 5Y will give you zero result, zero value.
it's like
You're going from dot to dot, but you want to connect the dot.
Exactly. Yeah? And that's why a good way to, if you want to evaluate a good product, you know, don't look at the product. Feel it. Because then you will get focused on the product. Yeah. But you need to look at how this product has behaved. And you try to do the back tracing. Yeah. Because you have seen back tracing and forward tracing or backward tracing. Yeah. You do the backward tracing. So if your product is able to justify the research and the insight, you are not by luck creating a good product, you are actually by designing creating a good product or by process you are creating good. Yeah. So you need to be very, very careful about that. Okay. Backward tracing and backward tracing के लिए आपको ये 5 W and 1H आंसर देना. Okay. So I will not go too much into the 5 W and 1H. Okay. So if I ask you, you guys are supposed to do a project, right? Which is going to start from the first week of this thing, August. Yeah. What's your plan? Have you thought about it? Any product, or any problem statement, anything which you think you are like to explore? So let me use as a next step to make the conversation on that. Yes, what is that?
So my idea now.
Uh-huh.
जैसे प्लेटफॉर्म हुआ और उसका एक वेट है एक तरह से जब हम बार पास करेंगे तो सेगमेंट बार होगी जो स्कैन जो शेडर डैमेज उसके लिए स्कैन करके हम एक रिपोर्ट जनरेट करवा सकते हैं जिससे कि सेगमेंट बायर से वो उसको जो श्योरिटी रहेगी वो ट्रांसपेरेंट रहे प्रोसेस और जो ऐसा हो
So I understood. So what you're helping in the second car industry and helping people to make a better decision, a transparent decision about their purchasing the car. Right? So, yes. So now I ask you to first articulate the problem, not the solution. Because right now you're talking about solution. Let's talk about the problem. What is the problem you anticipate you are going to?
ये से कई जो डीलर्स होते हैं वो कई एक्सीडेंटल कार होते हैं वो ठीक करके पेट वगैरह करके हम नहीं दिखा देते हैं और लोग बाग वो खरीद लेते हैं बाहर से देख कर उससे नहीं पता लग पाता तो फिर काफी एक दो महीने बाद प्रॉब्लम्स आने शुरू हो जाती है
So first thing is you are solving the issue of
सिक्योरिटी
नहीं security में
Asymmetric information.
the truth. नहीं truth about the offered car ना ठीक है car. I'm assuming this is a car only. Truth about. So that most of the people, there's one problem is that the people do the cosmetics this thing, treatment to this thing, and
और सारे कोर्स
तो ये जो truth है ये किस टाइप का है? What are the thing which you want to talking to about? One is the physical condition, right? Dent and everything, yeah, na? Physical. What else?
मेंटल एश्योरेंस मेंटल एश्योरेंस रहेगी
नहीं वो तो आउटपुट है ना. अभी हम कह रहे हैं मतलब ये हो जाएगा तो डिजाइनिंग में आपको पता है ना क्या कहते हैं हम कि हम किसके बारे में बात कर रहे हैं और किस यूजर के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं और उसको करने से उस यूजर पे क्या चेंज होगा। अभी हम उसके ऊपर बात नहीं कर रहे, अभी हम ये कह रहे हैं कि ये जो ट्रूथ अबाउट द ऑफर्ड कार है वो किस तरह का होता है। पहले का फिजिकल ट्रूथ ना, कि वो डैमेज है कि डेंट है, ये हो गया। और क्या ट्रूथ है?
वैल्यू
हम्म
की एक्चुअल वैल्यू
लेट्स नहीं, but वो तो आउटपुट है ना।
नहीं मतलब वो डिसाइड हो सकती है।
हाँ, that's what I'm saying. ये सब होगा तो मैं वैल्यू डिसाइड करूँ। You are going to establish some insight on certain thing which will help me make a decision whether I buy it or not. If I buy, what price I should buy. But what are the decision criteria for a user related to truth? What are they thinking? Don't look at from a dealer point of view right now. Look at from a person who is intended to buy a old car, yeah, or a used car.
How roughly it has been driven.
They are interested in knowing because what they do manipulation of mileage. Yeah, yeah, they reset their meter. Na? It's about the travel, right?
What parts have been changed?
Distance, na? Yes. So this is a physical truth. Na? Or what?
What parts have been changed, removed, or damaged?
So ये तो physical damage. This is a part.
Like कभी जैसे gear होता है,
हाँ.
और tight हो जाता है.
Yeah, part change. What kind of change exercises have been done?
Brake oil
Okay.
also.
Yeah.
Accidents, it can be part of accidents.
Yeah.
Past records.
Records, which could be around, if it was its multiple buyer, multiple owner will be there. And what is the, what was the other thing? But about the past records, accidental.
Service records also.
सर्विस रिकॉर्ड या ये मैं इसको इधर डाल देता हूँ। हाँ ठीक है, सर्विस रिकॉर्ड। ओके, so this is about truth. What else? When the person is dealing with this, so first I want to understand is it a good product to buy, right? And how do I define a good product? Which is old car, some attributes. No? These are the attributes which will be. There could be, so what could other attribute be to define an old car a good car? Right now we are not going to value, right? Okay, but is there any other thing?
Documentation. Authentic document.
This is all for that ultimately, because in documentation we are talking about this only, na? Physical damage hai ki nahi hai, service seek.
The documentation of the car. The registered.
Okay.
maybe the
हाँ, basically past record, multi owner ये जो है ना, हाँ ठीक है, ये है ना, तो और बताइए।
I think can the features of the car also depend.
वो आ जाए ये physical damage के लिए मेरा डेंटिंग वेंटिंग हो गई, कलर दोबारा कर दिया, बट उसी में अनलुक है ना, क्योंकि डेंट लगा दिया है ना, तो वो अच्छा दिख रहा है, बट इज इट रियली कॉस्मेटिक चेंज और दिस थिंग? So what I'm trying to say, think about this before even looking at your solution. Okay, what are the other things which you would like to know about? So what is the next step? When you go and buy anything, what do? How did your workflow goes?
कुछ person आगे हुआ.
First is I tell you my story. I saw webinar in auto fair in Frankfurt. Okay, and I was a student at that time. Okay, I was studying. I was doing my second master's in Germany. So I saw it in Frankfurt, and I said, if I ever buy a car, this will be mine. Okay, I never drove this. So what would it was a very first thing. First thing, Suzuki. Yeah, that was the thing. I seen it. It was beautiful. at least in my language, but they're very understanding. Some people thought no, yeah. And they've given me a feeling, yeah. But if the day I would have actually planned to buy it, do I require any more information than this? Hmm? I will not decide, take a decision based on Suzuki good, yeah? And it's a brand of Suzuki, that's all, yeah. I will make a lot of other decisions.
Value for money.
Value for money, yeah. So everybody, all of us, define a value. And value is very, very cultural and very, very cognitive. Yeah. Okay, that's why हिंदी में बहुत सारे मुहावरे हैं ना, हाथी मरा हुआ भी सस्ता है, something like that ना, कि हाँ, there is something like हाथी हाथी की दादी खाने के और something like that. Yeah, so that is very, very important. Now, what else? What else is important? All these are quality. Some are qualitative, some are quantitative. Na? What else is it? When you go and buy the car, what is your work? First is you're not. I decided to go for it, but do you think everybody goes for this? No. When you buy a car, when you make a decision of investing in a car, you just say maybe I'm going to buy Volkswagen or Suzuki and all. You try exploring. You try to gather a lot of information about the different cars. Yeah. But if you go like this, will you able to make a decision? So what is the first thing you fix? When you decide to buy a car, what is the first thing you fix? You fix a budget. Right? You at least give it as a, I'm looking for car in the range of 12 to 18 lakh. Yeah. Otherwise, it's a very difficult market. Yeah. So you want to look at the value because you don't define 12 lakh and 18 lakh at a currency value. You define at a value which you see finance, social, yeah, and perception. Yeah. मैं perception की देखता हूँ आजकल जब मैं 12 से 18 लाख रुपए खर्च करने को तैयार होता हूँ तो मैं मेरा सोशल वर्क हुई है मैं ईवी में इन्वेस्ट करूँ या डिजिटल कार में इन्वेस्ट करूँ है ना या गवर्नमेंट इज नॉट पुशिंग मी फॉर दैट बट इट्स माय डिसीजन आई लाइक बट यू कैन डिबेट ऑन ईवी is it environment friendly or not? Yeah, I want to get into this discussion. You really have to understand this. So I give you very interesting recent research I have conducted. So in triple IT, we have started a new division called division of flexible learning. And you know what is all these universities are doing? Every university is coming with an online program. Yeah, because everybody wants to add a revenue thing and the online model is a very good way to increase income. Okay, so I talked to 300 students. Okay, whole California. Everybody thought that I'm a marketing person from this side. Yeah, okay. So why I should I don't know if you play a role of a marketing person. So what is it? But I don't think I will. Imagine, if I'm working as a researcher, what will be my research question? I'm not telling you my research question, but try to anticipate what would even need a professor is talking to 300 aspirants who is going to go study online.
Unbiased opinion of students.
My simple research question was why somebody would take a what will make a person to see value in an online course and you know what was my answer? Like the problem with all the university is they are still going for their online model, keeping COVID as an aspiration. Because online education came only during the COVID. So they had no time to think. It just came. Okay? They have no time to think. So they use cortex. Okay, and they translated their offline into online using Because that we are not creating an online course. We are creating, because again, question is product, bottle. We said, what I'm supposed to do? Tell me so that I can do it.
It's okay, sir. I just, I think, sir, it is just
Screen.
having some, and then, sir, you have to go to this thing.
Yeah, got it. I hope I remember, but I don't. Yes.
I will come back.
So everybody is trying to do online. Like everybody trying to create a product called bottle. But which product will be sold? When you would have not focused on the product, you would have focused on what are we trying to achieve. What are we trying to achieve through online? Tell me. Are we just achieving the revenue or something else? We are democratizing the education, right? The first, yeah. We are making education accessible without losing the quality. What is the biggest challenge we are facing? What is the biggest challenge?
People with
Perception. The perception. I hope you guys know IIT Madras program. Yes. Yes. Science. So last week I was in IIT Madras. Okay. I had a chance to talk to the director. And I was so impressed about the take on this course. Because think about JEE. How many students this year? I believe 16 lakh people, students, right? How many really got, in spite of having 25 IIT, how many students who got this into IIT? Maybe 20,000? Yes, 40,000, 50,000, something. What happened to those students? 16 lakh. Some must have gone to NITs. Yeah, some must have gone to NITs. Yeah, but still the number is very small. What happened to those who have not? Only fed to the coaching center. Okay? Real value is not generated to them. Because at the end of the admission process, they were standing in the same line as those people who didn't do any coaching. Okay? Fair? So what is the value they received? So you know what they have done? They said, whether you converge or diverge, this choice is yours. JEE is what JEE is doing. Convergence. Yeah. You know, BS data science is doing divergence. You know what is the success rate of data science program? He showed me the data. Less than 1%. Less than 1%. The people who join versus the people who qualify and become the BS, less than 1%. But it's open for the people to do act per their capability. So it doesn't give you result only after 4 years or 5 years. It will give you result at different levels. It gives you a foundation. When you decide, when you realize it's not possible for me, then you leave at the diploma level. When you feel I'm done, I cannot go further, you leave it at BC level. Okay? But if you are capable of doing, then you leave it at BS level. And if you want to stress more, then you leave it at ComTech level. Yeah? It is not innovation. Yeah? So, because they were able to think in a open, divergent thinking. Otherwise, everybody will create and they become the pioneer. Right? They became the pioneer about looking at IT in a different world, different life. So many people who aspire to, and they invested 4 years and they do nothing after that. They're at the same level as other people. That's the beauty of this product. Think like this. Because nobody tried it. They tried it, now you can see everybody tried it. You want to be a pioneer or you want to be a follower? Choice is yours. And all this can happen when you change your mindset about this and focus on people. What they focus on? Quality. Because they realize 16 lakh people, or maybe when they started it was 13 lakh. It started 4 years, 5 years back, yeah. Maybe 30, still 13 lakh, but the IT was also less at that time. So they realized that what is that qualitative experiences which a person who aspired to be in IIT happen to them when they invest their 4 years. Okay, and they created a product, successful product, which now people are copying always. Every university, IIMs have started doing this, of course, in a different model. Yeah, okay, so think like that, and that's only possible because you are not focusing on what. Here they were not focusing on the product. Again, what they were focusing on the people, and they realized 60 lakh people who aspire to be giving them hopes. Okay, and then allowing them to leave at their own exit level. Everybody cannot be, because आपने क्या किया 16 लाख में से 20,000 को एडमिशन देके 15,80,000 people are brought to the same level. But here, these people take a journey, and as you go for tracking, everybody cannot go to the mountain, yeah, or the Mount Everest, yeah. There are different levels of scaling, yeah. People as per their caliber, but they have a sense of achievement. Journey doesn't remain incomplete. The product which you create should be able to, and best product example I tell you, when you design a product for a child. What is so special about designing a product for a child? Right now, I'm not going to talk about technology and all. What is so special? Yes.
Like if we are designing something for adults, we can ask them like what are their needs or
Right, this is not different. I'm talking about some other day. What is so unique about designing a child product? From an experience point of view, from a psychology point of view, from a qualitative point of view.
We have to take care of the material. of the-
That is also physical thing. I'm talking about the cognitive level.
Product
Cognitive level. If you try,
directly,
yeah,
the child's product directly interacts with the brain of the child, which is untouched by any social or any bias at all.
okay. Before we go into
A
this,
child
I'll ask.
only likes a product when it, कुछ दिमाग में होता है कि ये देख के मैं I touch this, it their brain.
They are explorer. Childs are explorer. They don't think about destination. Huh? They explore. So there has to be an exploration possibility. The product should give them enough exploration possibility. What is the other problem with the child? You buy a toy, he's very happy or she's very happy, and after 10 years, what happens? They get bored, right? And your product is gone. It goes into cupboard, yeah, or somewhere, yeah. Okay? You invested money, the life of this pleasure or the comfort or the happiness for 10 months. So 10 days, 15 days. So what you have to do is you have to give multiple values. Uniqueness about the child product is you should be able to provide role changing. You should be able to turn into different things, multiple things which you offer as a product. Yeah? Okay. So all of you know about this company called Nokia? Say it. I worked for Nokia for quite a number of years. Designed many phones for them. But why we failed? We failed now ultimately. We had to close down our mobile phone. Right? Why? What could we do? We are the best in technology. We are the best in technology. We were best in the user experience. Yeah. But why we failed?
The changing environment.
Adapt, yeah. So what was the changing environment?
So it was all coming with the screen.
No, it's not easy. That's not easy. That's not easy. It's a very interesting reason. And you'll be surprised to know that. You know, what is a mobile phone? What is a mobile phone?
Device.
What is the need?
Communication.
Right?
But still आगे भी और चीजें.
You know what happens to the phone device? It goes beyond communication. Okay? And the worst, which is about the cultural code, is changed from a communication product to a fashion product, a style product. And that only this change has shorten the life of a phone to 6 months. I don't want to keep my phone for years. Yeah? I want to change. And Apple has done a very good job on that. Yeah? They worked on aspiration. And they sell it for 50% of price, pay the same amount to buy a new model. Aspiration. Yeah? They have adjusted. Yeah? You know what? Why Nokia failed? They were not able to understand that it's changing from communication product to trend product, fashion product. This was one, which is a culture. Second thing, what? They never able to adopt to Android. They were too much stuck on GSM. Yeah? Their own technology. They know this is the way. So this too led to the problem. And I still remember, six of us were sent from Finland to China to start our product development center in Beijing. And you know who was the leader in the mobile phone at that time? Motorola. I was just handling the Chinese market. 80% of the market was captured by Motorola. 20% market was captured by local Chinese manufacturers. Yeah? And Nokia decided to send six of us, leading different groups, go explore the Chinese market. Yeah, and you know what is the first thing we learned? That Chinese doesn't use a mobile phone as a voice communication. This is our insight. They don't use it for voice communication. They use it for text communication. They use mobile phone during text, but in that they have a problem. What is the problem? Chinese characters are pictorial. You know how many number of characters are in Chinese? More than 2,000. Imagine keep designing a keypad for accommodating that many. How many times you need to press this button? Yeah. And then culture. I have a very good cultural connection. You know what was our first phone? Cotton ball. You know, two things we did in that. One was technology. We realized that they are going to use for text communication. And we wanted to solve this problem of taking too much of time for text. So what they were doing is, there is a word called pinyin. So pinyin is nothing but an English version of Chinese. Okay? So like Xiao, when you write Xiao in a Chinese character, you might be pressing 17 keys. Okay, so they have used pinyin where you say QIAO. But that's touching the culture part. Because they are not able to type in their character. They are typing in English. That was a problem. Anybody who's from a cultural context point of view, they were not very happy. So what we did the first stylus in phone in the Chinese market. Okay, so you write. First time we did. You know which year I'm talking about? 1999. Okay, and this solved problem. And we use T9 dictionary in a visual form. Okay, because everybody has a different handwriting. How does the computing system understand everybody's handwriting? So it gives you an option. As it gives you an option in current English. Yeah? This gives you a completion option. 1999 we did. That was a technology part of it. Okay, so technology is important to understand. But most important was we identify a person which is a culture code. A character called Tulba. Tulba is a character. It's a very interesting story. He was a poet. He used to write poetry. But circumstances made him a warrior. Okay? So we use that culture code and converted our phone design, the critical form factor, into that. So the design was, if you search, I don't know what the model is, but maybe tomorrow I'll show you the picture. We use that form of a warrior. So the design of the phone is like a warrior has a helmet, yeah, which is a metallic helmet, and the warrior has a chest plate. Yeah. So we use that as a metaphor. Okay. And then we have a stylus, which is on the back side of it. And the ad is when he's writing a poem. He's writing a poetry. Then he puts his pen back, and then situation changes, and this becomes a sword. It becomes a warrior. So what I'm saying is now, what we looked at is need, which is what I want to put the no, not this, not this. I'll show you that. Yeah, this is very different. You will see that it's a warrior standing in front of you. Okay, so only understanding the culture code of China that I want to communicate by text message than the verbal communication. If you would not have picked up this, what would have happened? Would never have arrived to this design. Yeah? And the result was after launching this phone, within 6 months, we've broken the record of Motorola and we became number 1 in Chinese market. That's a story of a good product. And I'm again emphasizing only because we didn't focus on just technology, we focused on what the needs were and what are the challenges they face with the needs. Yeah? If you do not have captured this, whatever interview, whatever this thing, and this never came as an interview because I can't speak Chinese. I can't go and do the interview. But what I did the observation. So there is a very interesting tool called contextual inquiry. Yeah, observation. So observation can be anywhere. Yeah, contextual inquiry is observation in the context of that person.
Ethnography.
Ethnography, yeah. So I tell you another very interesting project. I'm trying to give you with these examples a kind of a appreciation that why you should engage into understanding the user requirement. Yeah, because if that doesn't happen, then you will miss the bus. Okay. I think this phone distracted me. I lost my correct. What was I talking about? The
Appreciation for user requirement.
Okay, let me think about it. Yeah. So, okay, I draw one thing. Sorry. Don't judge my drawing. What do you understand? What do you understand? Of course. So explain me and your insight. When you see this, what comes into your mind?
Tap for children, tap for adults.
Tap for children, tap for adults.
Yeah.
Anybody else? This is like tip of the iceberg.
Like you can
Everybody
wash your
else-
hands and you can even like wash your legs or something.
Okay, ठीक है, और बताओ. Any other explanation? This is culture code.
Hot water, cold water.
Huh?
Hot water, cold
Hot
water.
water, okay. City में रहते हो इसलिए सब कॉफी मॉडल निकल के आ रहे हैं hot water. And this I saw in a city or village called some village, I don't remember, but Hanumangarh district in Rajasthan. And I was impressed. I was like so happy with this. Till I seen as a non-researcher.
Clean water and.
That why somebody will have the same and think about like you're drinking water and they will have a common.
Maybe there's a filter on the Coca-Cola tap.
Yeah, think go into culture. That's right. That's what we think. You're still going into that qualitative in a very different way, and you'll be surprised that when you hear the answer.
And might be good for like नीचे जो taps होते हैं बर्तन धोने के लिए,
Okay.
and the upper ones are for like hand or something.
ठीक है, okay. But none of these are that. Because this is BFC. So I was doing a research on drinkable water in different parts of the world. Okay. Okay.
The groundwater thing
No.
or something?
No, no. I'm telling you cultural code, cultural code, cultural code. Easy interpretation is all of you have done. Adult versus child, animal versus human, hot water versus cold water, drinking water versus wastewater, whatever.
Something
No
related to
interpretation is
habits.
huh?
Something related to habits of the people of.
ठीक है, ये भी नहीं है valid. That's what you have to go there. Please understand. What I'm trying to draw your attention that this is where we limit ourselves to into research or industry.
Populations
Huh?
are there, so populations are there, the दो tab.
We're sharing meeting. Now I have to go for what is
Share screen.
share screen. Let me use this screen. Okay, so let's start now.
फिर वहाँ से back home उधर उधर.
अच्छा यहाँ से. Oh, this is yeah. So back to this. You will be shocked. Believe me. And if you go as a researcher and get this conclusion, which you have done, you have failed. This is a village. Please remember this Rajasthan. Anybody coming from village background? Here. You? Here. Can't you understand?
हमारे से जैसे
Maybe you are a very improvised village coming from a very important village.
बाद में से मारने को पैर से बंद कर मतलब अगर विलेज में मैंने अपनी तब भरा and I'm carrying it and I have to shut the नहीं पैर बंद करना.
That's what I'm saying. This is the problem of research. कि यदि आपने insights सही नहीं करी तो सब गड़बड़ा जाएगा. आप उसका solution कुछ और करते रहिए. You know what was the real purpose of this? You know the last system. So imagine they were progressive, by the way, that they were allowing from the same track the people of upper caste and the lower caste. There are villages where they can't even allow. But the rule is, if there is an upper caste person drinking, this is what the tap they will use. The lower caste person has to be drinking here so that they feel they're going. Now, and
I did not say.
huh?
I found it.
You knew it. Then why you are not responding? See, be articulate. Never feel shy. Okay, but this is the reality. Believe me. I took there is a university called Ambedkar University. Anybody knows this?
yeah,
In Kashmir.
yeah.
So I was doing a visiting faculty over there, and I did a studio for them. I took them to a village in Himachal Pradesh, the village for a week. And this was kind of exactly understanding the culture codes. Every day, at a reflection time, night, पूरा दिन activity करो, जाओ, पाके करो, and exactly the same thing. I'm hearing everything, but not hearing the real thing. Yeah. Okay. And I tell you very interesting. This village is like, because it's a hill area, so village is like in a slope. Yeah. So there are houses. And there are houses. Here. They went everywhere. And imagine we have one whole week. Until fifth day, I was still not able to get this answer, which I was trying to get. You know what I asked them? To do a skit. As a thanks. So they did a lot of hospitality, they given us food and everything. Without realizing, that's what we are doing as a gesture of this thing, thank, yeah. They prepare a skit to the student, yeah. They practice. I told them, make a hand-made invitation card. Go to every house in the village and invite them. Okay, but stage cannot be here. The skit has to happen here. Yeah. Why did I keep this here, the stage? Now, since you have heard this, the tap thing, yes.
Because people are more likely to come down slope और नीचे वाले लोग ऊपर
You are
जाने
still,
को मेहनत
you are
लगेगी.
still in that mood.
Lower
you are
caste,
still in-
upper caste.
Low caste, upper caste. But how does the stage help me with this? What is the problem I am facing? My students are not able to understand the cultural code of the village. Yeah. They have talked to everybody. Every night we have a reflection session, but they are not able to get this cultural code of the village. Of course, upper caste, lower caste, you are right to that. But how does this help? Because I'm talking about now. What I'm doing is I'm helping them learn. Yeah, they are going there as a researcher, but by looking at this, interviewing, talking, everybody, nothing happened. Okay, nothing came out, which is really valuable. So we did an experiment. Then experiment design that let's do a skit. So they did created a skit, practice it. But as an experiment design, I said let's put the stage here, but invite everybody. Till the day, the evening, when they have to do the skit, they thought everybody will be there. But nobody from this side came. What's the reason?
This is lower caste.
This is a lower caste. Yeah, and they were all upper caste. So just think about the cultural code. The slope had become the division.
Yeah.
Which you have to, as a research, you have to dive into. If you didn't, then it's gone. You could have appreciated the landscape, you appreciated the housing, you appreciated the hospitality, but the two pictures never came. And they were shocked. They said, they are asking me, sir, kya hua? Because you made the same invitation, same material, same language. What happened? And that is the day I disclosed it. Everybody knew, and they were surprised. Imagine like you are going to this village and solve some of the village problem, drinkable water, resource distribution. Can you able to do a solution, a good product without understanding the culture code? That's why it is important for you to understand this. Again, don't really just think about technology. Till now, I'm not talking about technology because technology is बहुत easy है. There is a researcher, PhD researcher working with me, very interesting problem. And actually very interesting profile. He's a fighter pilot. He worked for Indian Air Force as a fighter pilot. He retired. He was a fighter pilot. He was a trainer. Okay, and he was a test pilot. Okay, and now he flies Indigo. Okay, he wanted to work on that. How the cockpit has evolved. Yeah, the earlier plane when I was in your age, there used to be 4-seater cockpit. There used to be 4 members sitting. Pilot, co-pilot, 2 flight engineers. Yeah. Now, flight engineering is gone because technology has changed. The flight is controlled from the ground. So only the takeoff and the landing is controlled by the pilot. Everything is controlled by the ground. So they remove the flight engineers. Yeah. So he came. I'm flying the jets. It is single-seater cockpit. So we are exploring the possibility of a single-seater commercial plane. Okay, the cockpit should not be 2-seater. And believe me, when he came to me and we discussed, I told him, I will not guide you on this because he wants to see this under technology. Technologically, it's very easy. We can do digital twin, we can do AI, everything is technologically, everybody will be able to solve this problem. And you know what I told him? If you really want to work with me on this, just change the lens. Technology will handle it. It's not easy. And you are in Qualitative Hyderabad, will manage it. Yeah. But most important to manage is see through the lens of social sciences and cognitive sciences, the role of pilot and the co-pilot. And then you will be able to understand this problem very well. So are you getting what I'm trying to say? Please don't just think that by going out and focusing on technology, for this thing you will be able to solve this. You have to look at, take a deep dive. And that's why, do you know the theory of iceberg? Titanic kyun डूबा? You know, when the Titanic was launched, you know what was the claim? It's a state of the art, which will never think. In his first journey, gone. What was the problem? Technology was the problem, human was the problem, or something else was the problem. Why? Just because these two gentlemen and the gentle lady came in front and the ship got disbalanced? That was not the reason. What could happen?
The carelessness, they already thought it's unsinkable.
The captain
in my mind. Why not in support of singular pilot rather than pilot and co-pilot? What was?
no, I'm not saying, I'm not right now making a judgment. Only thing I said, if you solve this, if you try to work on this as a technology problem, it's easily solved.
Yeah.
But when you want to look at this and come up with a good way to look at it, this is still a research question, by the way. Can a commercial flying can be done using mankind? That's a question.
So actually, I have a question.
Yes.
So you talked about, you should, when building a product for a certain community, you should know about its cultural code.
Yes.
What if the cultural code is not correct and your product is meant to break it? So it is designed.
Yeah, there is a possibility.
Yeah.
That's a possibility. But
Like
I think
your
it's
product
I
is
think
to break the
it's
culture.
another very interesting example. When I was working in the industry, I was working for a company called CA Technologies. It was earlier called Computer Associate, later become CA Technology, and they were software company. They were building software. So they were the one project came to me by the EVP, Executive Vice President, Chris O'Malley, and he said, Raman, I want your team to work on this product. What was the product? It was a mainframe system. Mainframe system, where you have the command line interface. You guys are dealing with the GUI. Mainframe works on CLI, command line interface, green UI, yeah? And my first reaction to Chris was, Chris, I don't want to work on this problem. Believing, I knew that saying no to Chris, who is 5 layers above me, means losing the job, okay? But I said, let me spend some time on this problem and then come back. So, what you said that there are many things can happen wrong and you want to set it right. There is a possibility, but you have to make a decision. And I'm giving you this example just to answer this. So now what happened? The first thing which I looked at in the 2 weeks time, which I got borrowed from my EVP, I realized, most of the people were using mainframe are 50-year-old plus. This is the first thing. And what are we trying to do? They're working on this product for last 35 years. And they're very comfortable on using the command line interface. But you want to then relearn and translate into graphical user interface. That's what it should be. It might be bad. TLI might be bad. But I didn't do that. Because I felt when I look at the person who is 50-year-old, 55-year-old, what is the motivation he has to learn? It means I'm putting a load on this person, I'm putting that person into that situation where he has to relearn. And I made a decision, I'm not going to do it for them. But I also realized these people wanted to retire. And our company, 2/3 revenue comes from mainframe product. When I looked at the business value, realized one day when they will retire and there is no user, what will happen? People will not buy this product. So I said, can I shift the user base to the people who are experienced on graphical user, means young user, to, and I designed the whole product by shifting the user base from old to new for graphical. So I corrected it, but have not corrected where I felt there is no value because, but I, in the process of research, I also find some old people who are adventurous. They want to try something new. So I created a function called toggle. So explorer who want to explore the technology with a 50-year-old, he start exploring the GUI, but he had the power to toggle at the stage where he feels lost, where he feels uncomfortable, where he starts feeling the thing that, am I right? Press this button, it comes back to this. So it doesn't have to repeat this. It changes the. So these are the things. That's why you don't just do research. You do a lot of other things with this. Yeah. So sometimes changing is wrong. Okay, but you have to understand when to change, when not to change. That's a decision you have to make. Many times I give you why we can give every feature on every phone. Technology है तो मैं इस फोन में दे सकता हूँ तो आपके फोन में भी दे सकता हूँ. Why am I not giving? Why am I not giving? And by the way, I don't know if you know, India is the best country in terms of mobile phone experience. If you go America, which is advanced technology, is the worst in terms of mobile phone experience. Why? The features are controlled by not by the people. It's controlled by the company. Phone, Sprint, AT&T. They decide how many ringtones you can have. You can do any number of ringtones in our phone, na? But it's a business reason because they want to charge anything. That's a business model of thing. Wrong, right is a different thing. I can make every language. I personally have worked on 11 languages, Indian languages to do the text and okay. I can provide all the languages in every phone or not. Why are not providing? Because it will very heavy on the memory. It will actually impact the optimization of the memory and computing power. We are making, so what we are doing is we are doing regional packages. Software will package their Kannada, Tamil, Telugu, these kind of things. Yeah. This way we will do Odisha, Assam.
A little bit of personalization.
Exactly. But it's a very need based because we don't want to spoil the performance of the mobile. You give everything to them, it's a problem. Yeah. Again.
So why USA is a bad country for?
Because you can't decide features on your own. If Nokia had all the features available, but which feature will be activated will be decided by the AT&T, not by the Nokia.
So customization of features is limited.
Based by the company, not by the consumer.
Sir, I still didn't get my answer of why you were not in support of the question.
I'm answering you that I'm not making it judgment that I never said that kids will not do. I just said, okay, look, let's don't see this through a technology lens.
Okay, so you wanted to say.
I said, yeah, because technology lens is very simple. I have enough. See, India is the best country for technology. There are so many good engineers.
So from other lens, what was the
social? Just think about a 16-hour journey.
Yeah,
A single pilot.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so they are not playing the role of a pilot and co-pilot. They're playing the role of a companion. That's a social science problem.
Yeah.
They get 16 hours sitting in alone in the cockpit. It's a cognitive problem.
Yeah.
And if you fall asleep, there's no one to check.
Okay, I'm not saying this is wrong or right. He is a researcher. He is coming with a biased mind that I flown so many of jets at single pilot. And he wanted to come. I said, very good, let's explore because evolution has happened from 4-seater cockpit to 2-seater. So if I know it can go into single-seater, but don't see it as a, don't research as a technology problem. Research it as a social science problem and a cognitive science problem. That is the difference. Right? And exactly from beginning of my class, I'm just trying to tell you this emphasizing because you are all a student of IIIT, which is focused on technology. The same problem I'm facing at IIIT Hyderabad. And we learn to code faster without understanding whether we should code or not. I'm saying don't code first. First understand why you should code. That is what the emphasis I'm saying. The second emphasis I'm saying, don't go with traditional path. I will talk to the people, conduct an interview, conduct survey, and I'll get all insight. So I just my whole last 3 hours, this is what my emphasis is. Okay, the day you will understand this, okay, just by doing, because I'm telling you, I tell you another example. The part of the same course where I take them to 1 week of this, yeah, and solve this problem. You know what was my second studio? Chandni Chowk. Okay, you know what was the assignment I did in it? You have to find happiness. Okay, what is the cognitive model of happiness? You're smiling, look happy, right? Say it. I said no. Now you're not looking at happiness from the people point of view. Look at the billboards. And capture every example through a photograph in the billboard, in the shop name, the same, and show me happiness.
So, for example, the billboard has some particular name, might be the name of the model.
Now, see what you take it. I'm not saying that. You interpret. Maybe the name of the shop itself give you a happiness. Maybe the picture of the. I'm not. That's what I'm saying. That's the role of a researcher. That you find out. Yeah. And so this are the 2 days of studio. Okay. The third studio was, where ISBD. The 3-day studio. Okay. And the 4th studio was metro.
Yeah.
Because we were in Kashmir. Yeah. Okay. So I said, let each of the group with anger. I'll be the morning, early morning से लेकर पूरी 24-hour shift करेंगे.
And what was the motto?
Observation, just understand how the space changes in different time interval.
So crowd.
कैसे क्या हो रहा है, chaos हो रहा है, किस समय chaos होता है, कब नहीं होता, क्या activity हो रही है, सारा. Idea was start understanding the whole system.
Making good observations, I guess.
Yeah. And insight.
Insight.
So they are coming back in this, and I'll tell you very interesting insight. So in Chandni Chowk, so this guy was doing the capturing of the bill, this photographs, huh? So naturally, when you are, especially with this camera, you control and photography uses, huh?
Yeah.
You want to capture everything. So I saw one very interesting picture. There was a Muslim family was sitting on the sideways, yeah, the railing now. And there was some photographs of the Hindu god and goddesses. Okay, was lying there, yeah. And from visually, because they were very good kind of, from photo it was very clear, yeah. And when he was showing this picture, he was not at all talking about anything about these people and this relation, I said, go back. Go to the same place if you're lucky to find them. After this connection, try to break this connection. Try to find this connection. You know what they told? Luckily he found. And this Muslim family was not praying the Hindu god and goddess, but they used the Hindu god and goddess for the protection. Chandni Chowk is see, if you are familiar with this area, the backside of the Chandni Chowk is more Muslim side, this side which is Jammu's side, and this side is more Hindus. Yeah, they are now occupying their place in this area, and they know that दुकानदार वाला जो जिसकी दुकान के सामने आप बैठे हो, he might ask you to leave, but you are putting this. What do you see? Can you think about it? in a general perception. This guy has shown this picture, but I said, keep this photograph and try to read this photograph. He kept on reading, so assignment was find the happiness. So imagine, so ethnography, when you're talking about ethnography, small. So again, we have camera. Now what we do, we start taking pictures. But unless we can able to read the picture and make a sense out of it, it doesn't going to help you. As this tab. Everybody seen this tab. Everybody made the interpretation. Till I told you this. So
Yeah.
that's the point. Okay. So we don't go with the judgment.
What do you define by right interpretations and wrong interpretations?
We don't define right or wrong.
Then
Only
how do
the
you tell
contextual.
okay, this is the right one?
No, I'm not saying. Please understand. I never said whether using the Hindu god and goddesses by the Muslim family to protect is right or wrong. I never.
No, I'm not talking about that. But like, as we're talking about interpretation, we made interpretations about that tab. And then you said about that, which included the background of that hill.
Yeah.
Then we were able to say, acha, casteism ke basis per this tab was made. Because initially it didn't make sense, right?
Actually, I tell you exactly when I looked at the first page,
Haan.
what you reacted exactly that was wow.
Side. Okay.
I was saying, wow. You know, somebody can think in a village about this child and the this was my reaction.
Yeah.
Till the person who was escorting with me laughed. He smiled at me in a very sarcastic manner.
Yeah.
They said, why are you laughing? And he didn't answer me. At that point of time. I didn't know this thing, and then he told me. So that's what I'm saying. But top level, if you show the question, so what happened? I would have said, wow, the village has become very modern.
So you validated by answering by asking
Yeah,
about
so then I continue to ask because he's fine. And I continue probing him on this. What is why? Yeah? And then how? Yes, sir. So that's exactly what I'm doing. Don't assume things. Don't assume that this trap is for kids and adults. Animal versus this. Drinkable water versus wastewater. Don't assume because that's what the cortex is telling you. Based on your own interpretations. Yeah. Try to find out that, and that's what they were not able to understand. I told them, do a skit. Imagine if I would have put the same there. Thing would have come out very different. Yeah. Maybe why I don't want to put the stage there. Tell me, can you think about a reason? I could have done the stage there and did the same thing. Huh? These people, there are high chance that they would have tried to come there. And then there was a chance of violence. Okay, and I don't want my kids to learn this. So I said, let's do this here. And the position of the stage was not curated position. It was not an action position. So when you're designing an experiment, everything has to be precisely designed. That is what I'm saying.
The whole experience has to be designed.
Yeah, has to be designed. And without letting them know what I'm trying to do. They still, till last moment they're thinking, I'm saying, thank you then. By offering a skit. That is what their intention was. Till when they actually themselves realize, nobody, how can this happen that they give the same inclination, same matter, everything, but only this side of the people are there, not the top.
So you designed the whole experiment for the students.
Yeah, and that's why I said
Students are also part of the experiment.
This is a part of it. And that's why you learn designing experiment as a part of a research economy. If you don't design the right experiment, even in your scientific research, experiment design is a very important.
You have to
aspect.
think how each participant would feel at each time.
Exactly. So unfortunately, most of the places you will learn research are going and talking to people. Believe me, I give you very like a thumb rule. If you spend 1 week in actual field research, you spend 3 weeks in preparing for that. If you go with 1 week of preparation, you will never. And I tell you, nowadays, recently I gave a talk in my micro research about research only, user research, and I was talking about how do you utilize AI? Because It's very difficult, like not many times we do pilot research and all kind of, every time we don't have time, money to go out and all. So we started doing a lot of synthetic user concept. So I built user, giving the prompts. So I create a lot of user persona to the AI agents, yeah, and do the conversation with it. So I'm not relying totally on that. So what I do, I use them to design my experiment. I use it for designing my research. I do it for designing my surveys. Yeah. And when I need 500 people as a sample, so I use 200 of synthetic user. So every 20, I use 5 as a synthetic user to get this point. Yeah. Don't rely on totally on this. So for me, AI tool is in a RA. So when you work as an RA, your guide, your advisor doesn't leave on to you. Okay, you do a lot of work, they look at it and they advise you. So this is like this. Yeah. So are you getting what are we trying to say? And I hope I'm able to build this application that requirement gathering कैसे करेंगे बात की बात है. पहले ये तो understand कर लो कि why it is important. And then I explain you some of the techniques where you can look at the qualitative and quantitative, cultural code and cognitive or cognitive model, then turning into insight. Because immediate cortex say मेरे को यही interpretation थी child and versus adult. But when we remove cortex and then I started digging into this, then I able to find this thing. And that's why the theory of जब आइसबर्ग की थ्योरी बोलते हैं ना, so we make a lot of decisions about your product based on this. This is what the requirement gathering is. You have to take a deep dive, and for that, if you want to take a deep dive into क्या करोगे? What I think learn करना पड़ेगा ना. If you want to learn about the user, you need to learn the tool or user. Yeah. Okay. You can't just say, I'll go talk to people and I'll get it. Yeah. You will get nothing. I give you my PhD research. I worked on, my PhD was about financial inclusion of urban poor. Okay. Urban poor who don't have a bank account and all, I wanted to help them and using the mobile phone. 6 months I wasted. You know who I was interviewing or who I was interacting with? Rickshaw puller, auto wala, the informal labor. I'm talking to them and I'm believing I've done an interview. But when I come back and I try to find what I learned, I failed. So I was just thinking, क्या हुआ है? And I realized, you know what I do? I go and like dress up like this and go and talk to them. Okay? They don't disclose anything. And you know what I changed? I started wearing kurta pajama, that was not ironed and all kind of thing. Where I started studying footpath with chai shops. I never started interview like that. I go, sit there, let the people come. I'm not going when the people are there and going and talking to them. I'm sitting there, char chai bhi piyunga. Okay? I'm waiting some rickshaw wala comes. And then I know because in Delhi, rickshaw pullers are more mainly coming from Bihar and UP, talk about politics. Okay, started with political discussion, talking to them about this thing, then I started. Suddenly my insight changed, and it won't so worse. Believe me, my boss in Siemens, very good family friend. So I was sitting in Noida, sector 50, that road, in this attire and footpath. At 11:30 the night, between Kyari and India. 11:30. Something. Everything all right? I said 11:30. He said, what happened? He said, no, white thing is. He said, you know, it's happy to me that I saw somebody in this condition. Everything was fine. Then I suddenly realized, oh, don't worry. You know, I explained this. But just think how realistic that situation would have been to get this. Yeah, Ambedkar University, the same one of the course I was doing, so there was a girl who was living in Chitranjan Park. His father was an IS officer. Okay, so we were doing a research on fish market. Okay, and I asked her to do the interview. Okay, and she went and like style. इतने कितना कमा लेते हैं कितनी fish बेचते हैं मतलब the guy like he just rejected her and then coming because you were going in the persona of your father, and he thinks that you are coming from some government official, like you're trying to capture it. This is not the thing, like you have to go. I used to I tell you I used to buy into a rickshaw as a passenger and then start doing the conversation, like familiar. So that is how realistic research happens. And I have done a lot of international research in terms of Africa, Latin America, and also you have to understand culture. You really have to appreciate, understand. So when I went to Guatemala to working on a research on nutrition delivery for the 2 to 12-year-old kids. First trip to Guatemala. Okay, language is a problem, culture is a problem. I had to really learn about the culture, understand the whole culture. How do people think? When I go to somebody's house, what is should be my behavior? Where do I stand? Like for example, this is very interesting. We cross over, na? In India, especially, we can stand for hours and talk to our neighbor at the doorstep. And there, my first one leg will be inside the house, and the other person do it in Latin American countries. It's very bad considered as a culture. Nobody will answer to your question if you do sitting here. Even South में है. South में भी आपका 1 लाख क्रॉस हो रहा है ना. तेलंगाना में है. ये आपके घर के का जो बाउंड्री है, जो दरवाजा मेन डोर होता है, और 1 लाख inside and other like outside. They don't talk to you.
How come
It's a culture. Because you are not. Neither you are inside. Nor you are outside. It's like there's no connection between. I don't know the culture pura thing, but this is what I observed. Okay, going from North India, I was very used to do this and all. I realized that the response is very bad. People don't really appreciate. Then I get to know.
something similar in Japanese and Chinese culture about leaving food in a plate?
Oh, I lived in China for 19 months and I suffered because I've been trained not to waste even a small piece of this. In Chinese culture, if your plate is empty, it means you're still hungry.
It means you're poor.
No. It's still, consider when you're sitting at a restaurant or dining table, if your plate is empty, the host will consider as you are still hungry. You will take this. And you have to eat.
In Japan, you only fill your stomach by 80%.
Yes.
You
So
leave.
these are the different things which you have to really. There is a kind of tofu which is served in the breakfast. So in a culture you can't say no. But if you taste it, 1 week will gone. The taste will remain, which is very bad taste. But that's a culture. You have to learn. So okay. I give you another succinct example. So I had a team which had a lot of women in Chinese women in my team, and I don't know what they did. One day I realized, 1 month I realized, lot of women started having a short hair. So I thought हमारे यहाँ तिरुपति है जहाँ पे लोग जाते हैं शेव करा लेते हैं और क्या करते हैं. So I was just thinking, so I said, the Chinese and other culture, every employee of multinational have 2 names. The Chinese will have an English name and English people or Indian will have a Chinese name. So there was a girl, a very senior employee, Christine. So I was like, what happened? So I told her the Tirupati story about our country. And she said, no, there is nothing religious about this. Like, then what is this? So they have a belief that when the girl or the lady become pregnant, okay, they go for a short hair because they believe that most of the nutrition is consumed by the hair. Okay, so they want the nutrition to go to the child. So they actually do that. So they people छोटा तिरुपति समझ लीजिए यार इसको ये समझ लीजिए मेरा फर्स्ट इंटरप्रिटेशन था कोई होगा रिलीजियस सर्टिफिकेट होगा कुछ होगा till I actually tried to answer. I had this trouble with this lady 3 months when I joined as a manager there for that team. She was not talking to me very straight. Okay, she was the most troubled person in my team. Okay, One day I invited her, me and my wife invited her for dinner. You know what was why she was not comfortable or she was behaving very this thing? Because he said, sir, this is the first time I'm seeing and working under an Indian man. I never worked under an Indian man. I always worked under European and everything. This is not.
So what is the issue?
Issue is that she's not able to see that, hey, how can an Indian will be my boss?
Okay. So superiority.
Yeah. So I would have left it, I would have become arrogant. If you were not behaving this thing, I would have behaved badly with you. But I tried to find out the reason as a researcher. And this is the reason I found.
What was the solution?
The solution was I told her that you don't go to the history. Try it. If you are able to bring any point which you find that I'm not doing right as a manager, forget about my skill level. Okay. There is a very interesting perception in China. They like Indian movies. Indian movies, and because of the Indian movies, they think everybody in India knows how to dance and sing. Okay. So they used to feel, and they feel India is a hot country. Seriously. So I used to joke. I said, yeah, you are absolutely right. हमारे तो इंटरव्यू जॉब इंटरव्यू में भी ऐसे होता है जो एग्जामिनर होता है इंटरव्यूअर होता है वो क्वेश्चन करता है ऐसे सिंगिंग and you have to reply with singing. And the last, if they invite you on the table, then you stand on the table and dance. Then you start believing that you are doing right. Your selection is comfort. That was a joke. But these are the perception. So if you don't do that, believe me, if you don't do that, अब जैसे चाइना में का का sounding, there is no का sound. So Ashoka movie will not be called Ashoka. It's like Ashoka. तो अब यदि आपको ये नहीं पता कि साउंड वाला डिफरेंस है तो आप कुछ नहीं कर पाओगे. तो what I'm saying is ये जो चीज है ना, this is not as simple as conducting an interview and conducting a survey. You have to take a deep dive into culture. Africa जाओगे, I worked on a very interesting project which when I was invited to work on this project, I was just posting by me on this, about the contraceptive technology for women. Okay, and you know what my research area was? Haryana. Okay, West Bengal. I have to talk to the women about this topic. Then the next destination was Kenya. Okay, I will talk to African women on this topic. And I was telling that this organization called Think Twice in Australia, why me? They said, no, we looked at your profile, you have done a lot of design thinking, research projects, human centered research project and all. So I said, I'm feeling very nervous about this. So they said, no, we will ensure you have one. So we had a researcher coming from New Zealand. Haryana. It's a scam. It's a scam. But there is very high chance for getting. So this is what is the time?
5:10.
5:10. Okay. Do you have any question? So you help me understand about today's session in terms of what did you learn? What did you learn? Because I have not shown you slide, to be honest. And I wanted intentionally by doing this. Yeah. Okay. Don't blame me tomorrow if I show you some slide.
Investigation and validations of interpretations.
Okay.
Cultural differences matter a lot when
We should not have any pre-assumed assumption.
Assumption, validation is important. Assumption is okay, but don't presume that this is.
Focus on qualitative attributes rather than quantitative.
I would not say this. Have both.
Have both.
Both. You can't just do quantitative, just do.
Yeah.
We should rephrase and brief like in a diverging way before we start working with that.
Yeah, the first and most important is you believe me, I'm telling you, you don't have to be impolite. Whenever, whether you're a professor, whether your client is giving you a brief, learn to say that I don't believe it. Sometimes you can say that to them, sometimes you don't say that, but don't believe that. the question that brief, and I give you tomorrow a case study, which I did about from Nokia, where I kind of rejected my boss. Already told you about mainframe, so I rejected my boss. But my boss, after when I did this project, he was so happy. That Raman gave me he used to have a print out of the UI and put it in his pocket, and everywhere he goes, look what we have done.
So I learned for better quality of information you have. Sometimes you have to blend in rather than stand out.
Yes, okay. But you don't have to see. Please don't be unnatural. Don't be unnatural. You don't like very time what happens now. We talk about persona. People force themselves to build personas. They think about more persona is better. No, there are possibilities that you don't find two persona, one persona only. To be natural. Everything has to come out through the data which you are collecting. Don't push yourself to create a data. Because when you create a data, it's very easy to identify. Believe me.
When you do prompts and
It's very I always acknowledge. So that's the reason I said I given this talk in macro research. You need to tell them if you're using AI, it's not a problem. The problem is if you don't
prompt it well.
First it's prompt well and don't acknowledge it. Because the day you will not acknowledge it, what happens, you start believing that's your work. You have to make sure that this is an I work.
The AI also works according to our prompt. It will come to हमें validate करता रहेगा.
It's going to
it always.
So writing when I create a synthetic user, how do I create a synthetic user? It's not like a guesswork. I do a lot of study. I do a lot of literature. And then write a prompt to make a right thing. So it is helping me interview 20 people. But you prepare the same amount of time in terms of preparing to bring that. That's it.
So you curate with the help of AI and test it on 5 people to validate it with AI.
So and don't rely on it. You always, as I say, every 10 I go for 5, or every 20 I go for 5.
So about requirement gathering and everything and methods of research.
Yeah.
How many methods are actually there? Because
there are methods. So I don't know if you read a book called 100 methods of research that read it. So, but I tell you, the actual methods are 6 or 7. Okay. So there are 6 or 7 methods, but you can multiply for this method, customize this and multiple. I give you one method which nobody might have told you. It's called diary, financial diary. So if you are interested in learning about financial behavior of people, there's no point doing it. You actually create a financial diary. It's a longitudinal process. 3 months, 6 months. And then you will be able to understand the financial behavior of people. Which I did.
The transaction.
Transaction, what. Like I just 2 days back in IIT Hyderabad, there was a conference research SAE, software engineering research something. Yeah. So there was a guy from NPCI, Payment Corporation, National Payment Corporation. Yeah. Just imagine all of people doing UPI transaction. So imagine NPCI के पास कितना data होगा? और they know everything. When we spend, or what we spend, how much we spend, and all. So I was just telling them. So he was talking about how many transactions we do. Okay, what is the volume in terms of money? So I said, since you are the biggest platform which has the largest number of subscribers and the data, which is a continuous data, are you also tracking other than how many transactions, how many failures happen? And what is the reason of failure? Is it report error or a human error? They have no answer. I said, version 2, if you plan to do NPCI version 2 or UPI version 2 or RuPay version 2, what will be your new thing? Okay, how do you see AI can be utilized? If you really on this data, you can create services. Yes, they know what I eat, from where I eat, and I give you a very interesting example. I did a very informal research in IIT campus, and I share you data, some data. You know, in a day, how many Zomato or the Swiggy package comes with very numbers. 800. You know what is the size of the student? 2000. Because it's a residential campus, but 2000 students, 2200 you can say, 800 packets are coming. And you know, Zomato का एक packet कितना होगा? The average लगा तो 150 to 100, 150 average होगा. 150 multiplied by 800. What is the value? Yeah. Whatever it is, we are not doing the multiplication. But how do you use the data? Now you have the data. As a researcher, how can you use in a university context?
अगर हम Zomato का equivalent कुछ ऐसी
No, exactly the entrepreneur. I'm not saying. Think about as a researcher, only how you can utilize it. You know, one of the things I said, look, out of the, say, if you look at the dinner and the lunch, 4400, out of 4400, 800 packets are coming. It means somebody is not liking the food.
Yes.
Yeah. Can we think about changing our menu?
We can think about
Yeah.
changing our menu, reducing food
Yeah.
wastage.
Yeah. This is the data. That's a researcher. Data is not just important. Data is also you can utilize this data. You can build so much. We have built so we have another problem. I don't know if
So I found out the solution about it also because there are many people who don't want to opt.
yeah. So we have this. We have this.
I did the way कि हम पहले data collect कर लेंगे कि you know in an applicant's set कि कल खाओगे या नहीं खाओगे, you want to eat or not. So that's why इतना material आएगा और इतना food
But
बनेगा.
you know, when I was in college,
ये data is better.
my food vendor used to hate me because we had a system called breakfast is the most skipped food block in a campus. Yeah, we are in our campus 30% occupancy is on breakfast. Okay, it means 70% is people are paying the money, which is not being utilized. Yeah? But when I was in campus, when I was studying my design in NID, yeah, so we had this problem. So you know what I did? I said on the night when people are to dinner, there was a register where they put this breakfast, yes or no, and put whether they will have omelette or they have a boiled egg. Yeah, this kind of.
So do you mind asking which NID you were?
I was in Ahmedabad. Okay, long back. Yeah. So उस समय सिर्फ कोई काम
हाँ,
उसके बाद
पाँच है।
बाद में वो काम ही नहीं हुआ आपसे बैंगलोर हो गया but I haven't. So we made this register. Now we know how many people will eat omelette versus boiled egg. Omelette तो बनेगा ना, boiled egg तो boil हो जाएंगे. You know what I started doing? So there was a break, tea break. So I used to go back to the mess. जितने लोग I told them to sign. Whoever take the breakfast, sign this. Okay. Now I have the list of people who are not signing. I also know कितने boiled egg थे, कितने omelette थे, कितने कुछ और थे. तो vegetarian है. I used to collect that. And supply. Ask this one staff. $70% profit going to the vendor, which I have not taken away from me. I remember 4:30 I used to wake up, then the milk delivered at our campus. In front of me, I used to put curd into that and lock it so that he doesn't add water. That was the most hated student of the MIT batch of in 1993-96. Okay. This guy should be removed, otherwise the but luckily they graduated me. Yeah. Anyway, so what I'm trying to say is, again coming back to this is, research is important, requirement gathering is important, but if you do a shortcut on requirement gathering and this kind of thing, you don't use right tools, if you don't use right mindset, if you don't use right perspective, you will do some research which may consume your time, which may consume your resources, which may consume your research, your money, but nothing good come out. Yeah. So I will have enough time to give you some case studies and all that you can actually see because I'm a field researcher. So I've done like at least more than 100 field research, okay, on different areas. Yeah? So I'll give you some 2-3 examples. But takeaway from today is that don't follow that you need to do a user requirement as a methods. Follow because it helps you making your product better. Okay. Don't depend on only interview and surveys for your research. Important thing is you collect both qualitative and quantitative information by applying the right tools. Yeah. And the most important part is you just not focus on the tip of the iceberg, but you focus on taking a deep dive into their social, cultural, economical, technology. There's one PhD student, I tell you again, unfortunately, my problem is that my research area is so wide because everything you can utilize this thing. So this girl is very interesting topic she's working on. She's working on motherhood. Okay. So what we are doing is we are looking at 3 stages of motherhood. One is prenatal, postpartum, and after delivery 6 months. Okay. And we are trying to look at technology, interaction between motherhood, different stages, and mother and the family. And the other side is the maternity staff, which is the medical staff and all. We're just trying to find out what are the intersection of their stage and the technology. And then, so we are not trying to make a judgment, this is right or wrong. We are not even thinking in terms of product. We are not even thinking in terms of solution. We are just trying to do a research to understand, currently understand what are the intersection. Yeah. And then we will decide in the next stage what we can do with this. Okay. So now she can't be just doing research on literature review. She has to go talk to the ladies who are pregnant, go to the different culture. You can't go to rich, high-tech cities, mothers who have all the technology available to them. They have a high literacy, they have a high digital literacy, all kinds of things. So they have to go to the rural area, she has to go to slums and talk to them, how do they work it, and you will be surprised, so much of technology interaction happening, especially from our social media. So one of the things which social media is doing, especially in the cultural context, social cultural context, is the family configuration is shifting now. पहले क्या होता था? The lady has a mother or grandmother to advise her. Now the nuclear family, they are not having. So social media is actually taking over that way. Whether it's doing it right or wrong, we don't know yet. But social media is coming as an alternative for replacing the grandmothers and mothers only. Yeah.
We can ensure like that the information that is going on social media, which is inevitably helpful, is good by like reviewing the material.
Yeah, that's what exactly. That's what it wouldn't change as a researcher or as a product maker. Na, we have to be very, very careful about our personal biases and personal judgment.
Yeah.
We should not make any judgment and do it unnaturally. Okay. So I will not see it as a positive negative right now. I'm just collecting it. Okay. And then put a focus. Okay. When I'm talking about a lady who has a low literacy and little literacy, how that information is coming. Yeah. Okay. So many times, that's what I'm saying. Okay, I give you another example. When I was in NID, we have a professor called Dr. Sky Marston. Okay, so she used to come every year during the Uttarayan festival, when the kite flying happened. And she had her PhD in kite design. They used to conduct a workshop, 10 days workshop for kite design. Yeah. But the very first day of her entry into NID was with 2 boxes, 2 big boxes. And what could have been there in the box? Think about it. She used to come with 2 boxes. The team box, whatever. What could have been there? No kites.
Clothes.
No. You know, she had a beautiful collection of paper.
Paper clips.
Paper clips. Paper clips.
Some loop.
Paper clips. There's a huge collection of paper clips. I know. What we used to do with this, what exercise, first exercise we used to do with it, she used to think about this table. She emptying these two boxes, and this table is full of paper. You know what we have to do? After that, divide them into gender.
How did you divide them into
That's
genders?
not your, there is no rule. It's your perception. Green color is women, blue color is man. Somebody will do it. Somebody says very smooth this thing is women and very textured into this thing. It's up to you. But that was a bookshop. No judgment. Please understand. Nobody is telling this is wrong. I'm trying to understand, interpret what is my view of gender. That's it. There are no past age, no grade. It's just about building the sense. And that's what that was the beauty of an idea. It was very experienced. Very experienced. So I always tell whether you want to become a designer or not, but you apply for the NIT exam. Because NIT exam, especially if you qualify the exam and you go there, I don't know what is the now. We used to go for 3 days. And I was, there were all this kind of roadies and all type होता है ना, जिसमें हर रात को एक exit होता है, exactly होता है 3 दिन. तो first day आप 3 workshop करोगे, उसके बाद शाम को 7 बजे result आएगा, if you are there or next day or not. Okay, and then you are out. If you are not there next day, you have to leave the campus. Yes. 3 years.
It's very rigorous.
In the course.
No, entry.
The entrance. There's an entrance exam.
एग्जाम के बाद आपको सिचुएशन अच्छे मिल जाएगा पहले 3 दिन के लिए होगा 3 वर्कशॉप एवरी डे होती थी एवरी नाइट देयर इज स्क्रीनिंग नाउ 7 बजे रिजल्ट आता था वो डिसाइड कर रहा था आप यू आर गोइंग टू स्टे इन द हॉस्पिटल में और यू एग्जिट नेक्स्ट डे मेनी पीपल गो फॉर द नेक्स्ट एंड वेरी सक्सेसफुल नंबर यू व्हाट वाज द टोटल साइज ऑफ आवर बैच 7 my wife's batch was 5
And today's date,
15 and 30 NIT
and अभी तो होंगे ज्यादा.
There are only
नहीं अब तो बहुत ज्यादा हो गई ना अब तो
नहीं.
I'm talking about जब हमारे साल में only including PhD and UG मिला sorry PG and UG मिला अब तो बहुत सारे हैं
7 बच्चे यूजी और पीजी मिलाते हैं।
नहीं 7 बच्चे नहीं 7 इस
PG
सभी PG anyway that's not very matters ठीक है तो I hope I'm able to establish this fact and some understanding that why research is very very important. When I'm using the word, I'm not using the research word in context of PhD. I'm telling in context of using it. Because your purpose is to collect a comment about your user, okay, and understanding the needs. Don't vote for me. I tell you, all of you have cameras now. Yeah. How many megapixel camera you want? All of you have cameras at least 50 megapixel. Yeah. Who else? Did you ask for that? No, no. So is it a really needful thing? And I tell you what happens. You pay for that camera, and you know what you do. What do you do? So you click a picture. Yeah, please. You click a picture with a 50 megapixel camera. Okay. What happens? You fill your memory faster, but you're excited about sharing this picture with your friends. Then you use WhatsApp, right? क्या होता है? You should. I hope. Again, out of 10 scale on a scale of 10, 1 is bad to 10. I'm not, and you be very honest because that will define my tomorrow's. Huh? See, nobody is perfect. Be honest. Be honest and be straight. I'm not going to take it as an So what is the, if I need to make it 2 or 10, what I need to do, tell me? Because I want to understand now, what is that thing which I should do? Again, honest, be honest.
Let's go on a field research.
Let's go on
Yes.
field
Like जब आपने बात की
So
तो it
can
was
you
very
do something,
interesting.
okay, can you put something on, within, which is within campus? Yeah, okay, 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 so let's talk about. Recently, again, after what I'm telling you, recently we had a suicide case. A second year, just ended into the third semester, fourth semester, the officer, and it happened in my office. The building, yeah. But I'm still not able to find out what's wrong. I'm not making a judgment right now. I don't know who I can blame. Yeah. Everybody will blame based on their comfortable position. I'm restricting myself to conclude. Yeah. So, will it be a good topic to understand the perspective of young fish, especially in the university like it might be, to see that what when they come, what works for them. Okay. Okay. We will set. I'll try to prepare that to curate this section for that. But let's do this. Okay. You go, but to few people, yeah, people, and get some information. If not, take over that. Please.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
People have no idea. Maybe another thing. There is so one instances as well.
Your board is not used much.
I'm sorry, I'm